Chapter 2220. To the two starry sky world venerables, this was the greatest humiliation. Endless anger turned into billowing killing intent. The two madly chased after Longao. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible for a titled world king to be faster than a starry sky world venerate. The two were not on the same level. A starry sky world venerate could catch up to a titled world king in a matter of minutes. But what was the result? As they chased after Longao, the two were shocked and helpless to find that it was difficult to catch up to him. What was going on? The two couldn't figure it out. Even if Longao could teleport, his realm was still too low. How could he compete with their speed? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. It was hard to believe. You two, you should stop chasing. Do you think you can catch up to me? Seeing that Longao had stopped, the two of them also stopped instantly. Both of their faces were very gloomy, as ugly as it could get. Longao, you know what it means to oppose us. A threat. If it were anyone else, they might be afraid of being threatened by two starry sky world venerables. But Longao didn't show any fear from beginning to end. Longao smiled and said, "You two, if I were you, I would go home and buy 2 pounds of tofu and smash myself to death. I am only a titled world king. There is no need for me to explain how great the disparity between us is. I believe you two know this better than I do. But in the end, you haven't been able to kill me even after so long. Ha, how sad, how sad." They didn't know if Longao was doing this on purpose or not. In any case, the two were furious to the extreme. Because the more Longao acted like this, the more humiliated they felt, Just as Longao said, the disparity between them was too great, but they couldn't kill him. If news of this spread back to the First Empire, where would their face go? Anger. Endless anger. Longao. He waved his hand. Without giving them a chance to speak, Longao said with a smile, "Gentlemen, let me give you a piece of advice. You'd better go back and train harder. Come back when you've broken through to the titled World Master or the Starry Sky Realm Emperor. Maybe you'll be able to catch up with me." It was a blatant insult. Longao did this on purpose to infuriate the two of them. In any case, the two of them wanted to kill him and obtain the treasures on his body. It was either you die or I die. Longao knew his own limits. With his own strength, how could he be a match for the other party? You are courting death. He couldn't take it anymore. The two of them were enraged to the extreme and directly released the Astral Boundaries rule power. Two terrifying Astral Boundary rule powers surged out crazily. However, in the next second, Longao's figure had already disappeared from the spot. He immediately began to lock onto the target. In the end, he found nothing. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't depressed. Brother Linghu, the other party's Starry Sky divine weapon is very strange. We were able to lock onto his position before, but now, we can't. Linghu Yarrow nodded in agreement and said with a solemn face, "The Starry Sky divine weapon is indeed strange. If we can't lock onto the Starry Sky divine weapon, we won't be able to kill him. That's why he's so fearless. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to do this. What should we do now? I can't think of a better way other than to kill him in one blow." As a Starry Sky Universe Master, he had a headache dealing with a titled World King. It was really a headache. In the Chaos Palace, Longao heaved a sigh of relief. At this moment, he was finally certain that the two Starry Sky Universe Masters couldn't lock onto the Chaos Palace. In this case, even if he had to face the two Starry Sky Universe Masters, he wouldn't be afraid. Longao wasn't sure if the two Starry Sky Universe Masters could stop him if he didn't enter the Chaos Palace in time. In order to ensure that nothing went wrong, Longao decided to give it a try. He wasn't targeting the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. Longao knew that he would definitely meet more Starry Sky Universe Masters in the future. The Chaos Palace was his greatest trump card and he couldn't afford to lose it. Dozens of minutes later, seeing Longao suddenly appear in front of them, both Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil were extremely angry. Longao's actions were completely provocative. A mere titled world king dared to provoke the two of them again and again. He was simply courting death. Longao, you're playing with fire. The two Starry Sky Universe Masters' voices were extremely gloomy. However, they didn't immediately take action. The reason was simple. In the end, the two of them weren't completely confident. They knew that they had to kill Longao in one blow. If they couldn't do it, Longao would definitely escape. Why don't the two of you make a bet? If I lose, I'll cut my own throat here without the two of you doing anything. What do you think? A bet? The two Starry Sky Universe Masters found it funny. They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen someone so arrogant. He actually dared to make a bet with the two of them. However, the two of them still asked cautiously, "What if we lose?" It's simple. I hope that the two of you can stay in the Soaring Dragon Empire forever. If the Empire could have two Starry Sky Universe Masters, it would be a completely different concept. Not to mention the heaven-devouring empire, even other powerful empires would be able to establish themselves in the vast universe. Do you think you can do it? Longao ignored the contempt of the two Starry Sky Universe Masters and said, "The two of you, my bet is very simple. Let's have a fair fight and determine the victor." Ah! Looking at the young man before them, the two Starry Sky Universe Masters were slightly curious. They didn't know where Longao got his confidence from. He actually dared to fight with the two of them. Could it be that Longao's brain was flooded with water? The more indifferent Longao was, the more fearful the two Starry Sky Universe Masters were. Originally, the other party was just a mere titled world king. With their strength, they didn't even need to put him in their eyes. However, the situation was different now. Could it be that Longao had something to rely on? Are the two of you afraid? Longao's face was filled with disdain as he mocked them. Shaking his head helplessly, Longao said with a mocking smile, "As Starry Sky Universe Masters, you don't even dare to challenge me. What a tragedy. Since that's the case, I won't force you. Goodbye." Wait. The two Starry Sky Universe Masters' expressions changed again and again. They were challenged by a titled world king, and yet they didn't dare to accept the challenge. Not to mention how their reputation would be affected, even they themselves would look down on themselves. Longao, are you not going to enter the Starry Sky Divine Tool? The two Starry Sky Universe Masters were only worried about whether Longao would enter the Starry Sky Divine Tool. If that was the case, how could the two of them kill him? In this battle, Longao was in an invincible position. Chapter 22-21. How could Longao not know what the two people meant? He sneered in his heart. "I can promise you that I won't enter the Starry Sky Divine Weapon." Longao was already like this. If they still did not accept the challenge, wouldn't it mean that the two of them were afraid of Longao? "All right, Longao. I also want to see how you're going to defeat us. As long as you can defeat any one of us, we'll keep our promise and guard the Soaring Dragon Empire." Although they were worried, they didn't care. No matter what, Longao was still a titled world king. Not to mention a Starry Sky World Venerable, he couldn't even become a Starry Sky World Emperor. How could he fight the two of them? "Both of you can come at me together." The two of them were speechless. Longao's arrogance caused the two people to be a little confused. Longao wanted to fight the two of them alone. Was this for real? Longao, attack. They didn't say anything else. Since Longao wanted to die, why wouldn't they fulfill his wish? At the same time, regardless of whether it was Linghu Yarrow or the Black Mountain Old Demon, the two of them suddenly released a terrifying Astral Boundaries rule power. The Astral Boundaries rule power gushed out crazily and suppressed Longao. The difference between a titled world king and a Starry Sky World Venerable was too big. They weren't on the same level. Putting aside the difference in strength, just by the suppression of their auras, the two of them had full confidence that they could instantly kill Longao with their auras. But what was the result? Under the shocked gazes of the two, Longao simply ignored the suppression of his aura. What was going on? The two of them were dumbfounded. They didn't expect their aura suppression to be useless against Longao. This was impossible. The power of Astral Boundaries rule could completely suppress Longao. But what was the result? How did Longao do it? Longao chose to take the initiative to attack. He rushed out instantly. Before he arrived, the primal chaos axe in his hand was already slashing at the two of them. He didn't care about their attacks at all and chose to meet them head-on. Boom! Boom! Two loud sounds rang out. The primal chaos axe directly smashed the two of them. If they were cultivators below the Starry Sky World Emperor, they would have been smashed to pieces. The two of them were indeed Starry Sky Universe Masters. Their defensive power was very strong. Even so, they were still pushed back by the Chaos Axe. He took a full 3 steps back. What kind of concept was that? The two of them were completely shocked. Was Longao really a titled world king? If he hadn't personally experienced it, he would have found it hard to believe that Longao, with his strength as a titled world king, had been able to fight one against two and force them back 3 steps. Not to mention a titled world king, even a Starry Sky World paragon would not be able to do this. No wonder Longao had such confidence. It turned out that he had such a powerful Starry Sky spirit artifact. Although they were shocked, the two of them still heaved a sigh of relief. Longao's strength was limited after all. If a Starry Sky Universe Master obtained this Starry Sky Divine weapon, it was possible that he could kill them, not to mention forcing them to take 3 steps back. They were very greedy. Not to mention Longao's spatial spirit artifact, just this axe alone was enough to make them go crazy. If they could obtain this Starry Sky Divine weapon, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. The two of them looked at each other and saw the deep greed in each other's eyes. This time, the two of them attacked first. Controlling the Starry Sky, Longao suddenly stretched out his right hand and clenched it tightly. A shocking scene occurred again. The surroundings were fine just a moment ago, but suddenly, countless cracks appeared in the Starry Sky. Not only that, the cracks began to forcefully compress. What was going on? The two of them were frightened. The cracks in the Starry Sky were known as the nemesis of Starry Sky cultivators. Not to mention the two of them, even Starry Sky immortals did not dare to resist the cracks in the Starry Sky. One could imagine how terrifying the cracks in the Starry Sky were. Especially now, they did not know how Longao did it. Not only could he shatter the Starry Sky, but he could also compress the cracks in the Starry Sky. The two of them had just stepped into the Starry Sky and did not know that Longao had such a remarkable ability. You have lost. At this moment, Longao suddenly stopped attacking and looked at the two of them with a smile. Lost. The two of them lost just like that. It was a little strange. In fact, Longao was just bluffing. Even if he had grasped the Starry Sky, it was impossible for him to kill the two of them. After all, the gap between the two of them was too big. He took advantage of the fact that the two of them had not reacted and suddenly stopped attacking. The two of them thought that he was being merciful and did not want to kill them. Just as expected. The two of them were temporarily stunned and thought that Longao was being merciful. After all, not only did Longao shatter the Starry Sky, but he also compressed the cracks in the Starry Sky. It was a piece of cake for him to kill the two of them with such means. However, the two of them were definitely suspicious. Longao, we did not lose. Is that so? Looking at the ridicule on Longao's face, Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Devil smiled bitterly. They knew that there was something fishy going on, but a loss was a loss. If Longao had continued to compress the cracks in the Starry Sky, would the two of them have been killed by the cracks in the Starry Sky? The two of them didn't know that Longao was bluffing this time. If the two of them knew that with Longao's strength, it was impossible to kill them. It was unknown if the two of them would go crazy. However, the two of them were unwilling to admit defeat just like that. They knew very well that if they admitted defeat, they would have to stay in the Soaring Dragon Empire forever. Not to mention their reputation, they would not be able to answer to the #1 empire. They would rather die than admit defeat. Longao, our battle has not officially ended. Let's fight again. This time, as long as you can defeat one of us, we will admit defeat and stay in the Soaring Dragon Empire forever. What do you think? Regret? Longao shook his head helplessly. With a look of disdain, he said with contempt, "This is the so-called Starry Sky Universe Senior. You two are really shameless. Let's continue the battle. You did not admit defeat this time. If you lose the next battle, you will still not admit defeat. God knows how many times I will have to fight. The two of them looked gloomy. This was a little embarrassing. They had lost the battle, but they admitted defeat. If this matter were to spread out, where would their reputation go? Longao. Longao waved his hand and stopped the two of them. He smiled and said, I have seen your shamelessness. Since you choose not to admit defeat, I have no other choice. Goodbye. The two of them turned and disappeared. Just as the two of them locked onto the location, Longao entered the Primal Chaos Palace successfully. It seemed that even a Starry Sky Universe Senior could not stop him from entering the Primal Chaos Palace. Longao was extremely excited. This way, he could ignore a Starry Sky Universe Senior. Chapter 22:22. Both sides were in a stalemate. Longao had the Chaos Palace. Even if the two wanted to kill him, it seemed impossible. As for Longao, with his strength, it was also impossible for him to kill the two of them. Longao knew about this, but the two of them knew it even better. In fact, both sides were very depressed. However, Linghu Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon were the most depressed. No matter what, both of them were genuine universe masters of the Starry Sky universe. They were many levels higher than Longao. They were not on the same level at all. Brother Linghu, do we have to continue? Do we have to give up? They sighed deeply. Longao has a Starry Sky Divine Weapon. Once he enters the Starry Sky Divine Weapon, we won't be able to do anything. Even if we stay, it will be useless. Do we really have to leave? In fact, both of them were unwilling. It was still that sentence, Longao's life and death, the two of them would not care at all. Only the secrets and treasures on Longao's body were a little greedy even with their strength. They could not bear to give up on them. If nothing goes wrong, this man will be famous in the vast starry sky in the future. Helplessness. Distress. More than that, there was nothing they could do. After thinking about it, the two of them finally decided to continue staying. Because in this kind of situation, it was no longer just for the treasures and secrets. If they didn't kill Longao, if this matter were to spread out, where would the two of them put their faces? They had to kill Longao. Just as the two of them were tracking Longao's position, Longao was also following them. So what if the two of them were powerful? Longao did not believe that the two of them would not let their guard down. Once they let their guard down, he would take action. Longao had already thought about it. If he could kill the two of them and refine them into Starry Sky Soul Slaves or Starry Sky Corpse Slaves, he would definitely have the strength of a Starry Sky Universe Master. The two Starry Sky Corpse Slaves guarding the Soaring Dragon Empire would undoubtedly be of great help to his brother. Although it would be difficult to kill them, if he succeeded, he would gain a lot. In the Chaos Palace. As Longao cultivated, he locked onto the two people's positions. He had to admit that the Chaos Palace was far more powerful than the Dragon Seal. Unknowingly, both of them had entered the Devouring region. Wherever the two Starry Sky Universe Masters passed, everyone would make way. There was no doubt that the Starry Sky Universe Masters were powerful. But at this moment, Longao opened the door to the second side hall. He was astonished because there was nothing else in the side hall except for a huge pool filled with a grayish-black liquid that was slowly flowing inside. Longao could clearly sense that the liquid in the pool was like the blood pool back then. It could be used to refine corpse demons or soul slaves. But he did not know the effect. He did not continue to wait for an opportunity. Longao was a little impatient. He wanted to try the liquid in the pool and see just how powerful it was. He casually went to the Heaven-Devouring Empire and found someone from the Starry Sky Empire. The person was probably a Starry Sky Realm King. Longao wanted to personally refine a corpse slave. He would be shocked if he did not refine it. Longao discovered that refining with the help of the liquid in the pool was a matter of minutes. Moreover, the Starry Sky Corpse Demon he refined was even more powerful than the one Long Fu refined. Moreover, it had a true immortal body. What did that mean? In other words, back then, Long Fu had used the dragon seal to refine a starry sky corpse slave or a starry sky soul slave. Although it was said to have an immortal body, it was not a true immortal body. As long as the difference in realm was too great, the refined starry sky soul slave or starry sky corpse slave could be destroyed. But the starry sky corpse slaves or starry sky soul slaves that were refined with the starry sky corpse slaves or starry sky soul slaves were truly immortal. Although Longao had not tested it, he was confident that the starry sky corpse slaves or starry sky soul slaves that he refined would not be destroyed even by a grade 1 starry sky cultivator. Not even the starry sky ruler could destroy them. In the following time, Longao entered the heaven-devouring empire and began slaughtering the people there. He immediately refined them into starry sky corpse slaves. When comparing starry sky corpse slaves and starry sky soul slaves, starry sky corpse slaves were far stronger than starry sky soul slaves. Of course, Longao would not refine starry sky soul slaves. Instead, he chose to refine starry sky corpse slaves. The 100-year agreement was bullshit. If the heaven-devouring empire could break the agreement, then he could do the same. In just a few days, Longao had killed thousands of starry sky cultivators. Among them were 2 starry sky realm kings. In just a few minutes, Longao had refined all of them into starry sky corpse slaves. As soon as he succeeded, he could not wait to try it out. He wanted to see how powerful the starry sky corpse slaves were. Heaven-devouring domain. Longao quickly locked onto the two's location and left the primal chaos palace. The 2 of you are still here. Are you still not giving up? Looking at the sudden appearance of Longao, the 2 were extremely depressed. What kind of situation was this? The 2 of them could not lock onto the other party's location, but the other party seemed to know where they were. Fortunately, Longao was only a titled world king. If he was also a starry sky world venerable, the consequences would be unimaginable. Longao, there is no enmity between us. Let's get straight to the point. As long as you hand over all the things and secrets in your hands, we will leave. Moreover, we will not interfere in the matter between you and the heaven-devouring empire. How about it? Left with no choice, the 2 could only choose to compromise. The 2 of them had already thought it through. Since they could not lock onto Longao's location, killing him would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Rather than that, they might as well choose to compromise. As long as the other party handed over all the treasures and secrets in his hands, this matter would be considered over. From their point of view, things had already come to this point. Since the 2 of them had already chosen to give up, unless Longao's brain was flooded with water, he would definitely choose to agree. But what about Longao? Longao smiled and said, "The 2 of you, your shamelessness is unparalleled in this world. Since you have already lost, according to the bet, the 2 of you should guard my soaring dragon empire. I never thought that not only would you not admit defeat, you would even want my things. How shameless." This matter was a great humiliation to the 2 of them. As starry sky world venerables, such a thing had never happened before. But in the end, it happened to Longao. Now that they thought about it, they felt that something was wrong. However, it had already happened and there was no point in continuing to quibble. Longao, we have already come to this. You should know when to stop. Otherwise, angering us will not do you any good. You still have the soaring dragon empire behind you. Chapter 22-23. Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao's face instantly became gloomy, as if he was used to it. In order to deal with him, the 2 of them were shameless to this extent. He did not continue to talk nonsense. He directly summoned the newly refined Starry Sky Corps slaves from the Chaos Palace. Thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves frantically rushed toward the 2 of them. "You're courting death." The 2 of them could clearly sense the strength of the things that Longao summoned. Such a group of people wanted to compete with the 2 of them. They were simply courting death. But the result? As soon as an expert made a move, one would know whether he was a real expert or not. The strength of thousands of people might not be much. Under normal circumstances, with the strength of Starry Sky World Masters, they could destroy thousands of people in minutes. But now, in their shocked eyes, The thousands of people seemed to be immortal. No matter how they fought, they could not kill them. What was going on? They were completely dumbfounded because the two of them were confused. They did not know how Longao did it. Among the thousands of people, there were level 9 starry sky cultivators among them. The two of them could not kill such people. Even if they experienced it personally, it was hard to imagine. Longao had disappeared. Although thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves were immortal, they could not destroy the two of them. A person's physical strength was always limited. Longao wanted to use the power of thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves to continuously consume the strength of the two of them. In this way, as long as he seized the opportunity, he would not hesitate to attack. Longao did not waste time and entered the Chaos Palace to continue to cultivate. Now the two of them were extremely depressed. As the battle continued to escalate, the two of them gradually found that thousands of people were not real Starry Sky cultivators at all, but puppet-like existences. The most helpless thing was thousands of puppets, almost all of them were immortal. Even with their strength, they could not completely destroy these puppets. The two of them did not know what was going on and how Longao did it. The two of them attacked like a storm. Thousands of puppets fell, got up and fell again. Anyway, they were immortal. In desperation, the two of them could only choose to retreat for the time being. Although the thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves had undying bodies, their strength and speed were still limited. They could only watch the two of them leave quickly. In just a short while, the two of them had disappeared without a trace. The two of them had just disappeared. Longao's figure suddenly appeared. Looking at the thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves in front of him, Longao was very satisfied. It seemed that the Starry Sky Corps slaves he had refined were very powerful. Even if they could not kill a Starry Sky Universe Master, they could still entangle a Starry Sky Universe Master. Longao did not hesitate and immediately chased after him. Thousands of Starry Sky Corps slaves might not be able to catch up to the two of them, but that didn't mean Longao couldn't. Under spatial teleportation, Longao's speed instantly soared to the extreme. After a few teleportations, "You too, are you running away just like that? Escape." Hearing Longao's words, the two people's faces were practically gloomy to the extreme. It was as ugly as it could get. To the two Starry Sky Universe Masters, the word escape was the greatest humiliation. "Longao, you're courting death. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha." They laughed maniacally. Their laughter was filled with disdain and contempt, but most of it was mockery. "You too, as Starry Sky Universe Masters, you can't even beat my puppets. Not only did you lose to me, but you also lost to my puppets. Do you think you can do it?" The two of them were helpless. Even though they didn't want to admit it, what Longao said was true. The two of them were Starry Sky World Venerables, but they couldn't even defeat a titled Realm King. What made them even more helpless was that there were thousands of puppets, some of which were even level 9 Starry Sky cultivators. They couldn't defeat them either. If they hadn't experienced it themselves, they would have found it hard to believe. It was very strange. Very strange. The two of them were not fools. Of course, they knew that there was something fishy about this. Under normal circumstances, how could Longao be their opponent? It was almost impossible. Even if they didn't want to believe it, the truth was right in front of them. "Longao, follow us back to the number 1 empire if you've got what it takes." Longao laughed out once more. He had seen shameless people, but this was the first time he had seen someone this shameless. Even though the two of them were upright, they were extremely shameless. Longao naturally knew why the two of them wanted him to return to the number 1 empire. The number 1 empire was a truly invincible existence in the vast universe. It was also the strongest Starry Sky empire. Without a doubt, there were definitely Starry Sky undying beings in the number 1 empire. If he were to head to the number 1 empire, would he be able to make it out alive? Longao had already decided that he would definitely head to the number 1 empire. But now wasn't the time. He had to wait till his cultivation state could break through to the Starry Sky Realm King level before heading to the 9 great Starry Sky empires. That was because he wanted his soaring dragon empire to become a super existence like the 9 great starry sky empires. Looking at Longao, who was smiling without saying anything, the faces of the two of them turned even uglier. Of course, the two of them knew why Longao was smiling without saying anything. Seemingly a little guilty, Ling Fox Demon said, "Longao, there are no grudges between us. From now on, we..." Waving his hand, Longao stopped Ling Fox Demon from continuing. Then, he said provocatively, "If you don't dare to say anything, then you don't dare to say anything. You two, you've been chasing after me all this time. Maybe I still can't kill you with my current strength, but I can tell you clearly that with my talent, it won't be difficult for me to surpass the two of you. I hope you can live well and wait for me to come find you." Longao's meaning was very clear. He was going to take revenge in the future. Of course, the two of them understood. "We'll be waiting." More or less, they were still very worried. If it were anyone else, the two of them wouldn't have the slightest fear. But Longao was the only one who was really troublesome. Longao's talent was indeed very strong. They believed that he would be able to become a starry sky universe master in at most 100 years. With Longao's current strength, it was not impossible for him to deal with the two of them in 100 years. When that time came, would the two of them really have to hide? If that was the case, it would be a fate worse than death. At the thought of this, both of them were ready to return to the First Empire. As for Longao's belongings and secrets, they didn't intend to snatch them. However, both of them changed their minds immediately. They wanted to cut the weeds and eliminate the roots to prevent future troubles. If they killed Longao now, they would like to see how they would find trouble with them in the future. "Have you decided?" Longao had already guessed their thoughts. This was the result he wanted. If the two of them returned to the First Empire, what could he do even if he could break through to the Starry Sky Realm Emperor? Chapter 22-24. Could it be that Longao was doing this on purpose? The two of them had an intuition that Longao deliberately kept the two of them. Although they had guessed it, they still didn't believe it. No matter what, the two of them were still world sovereigns while their opponent was only a puny titled world king. The difference between the two of them was so great that there was almost no comparison. Even if Longao could keep them here, it didn't seem to be of much use. What did Longao mean? The two were a little confused. "Longao, what do you want?" Being threatened by a small titled world king was really a pain in the ass. "I want to kill you and refine you into Universe Corp slaves." Speaking the truth, Longao had originally thought that if he could successfully kill the two Universe World Venerables and refine them into Universe Corp slaves, it would be a very good thing for himself and for the Empire. More importantly, if he could refine them into Universe Corp slaves, he could completely destroy the heaven-devouring Empire. The two were a little stunned. Longao wanted to kill the two of them, and even wanted to refine them into Starry Sky Corp slaves. Was this for real? The two laughed mockingly and said, "Longao, with just you. Let's wait and see." Longao turned around and disappeared. The two looked at each other and saw deep helplessness and anger in each other's eyes. It was a great shame to be humiliated by a titled world king. Should we leave or stay? If they chose to leave and return to the First Empire, it would be because they were afraid of Longao. But if they didn't leave, they could only waste time here. In any case, Longao had a Universe God tool. Not to mention breaking his Universe God tool, they didn't even know if they could lock onto it. Anyway, they didn't have the strength to lock onto his Universe God tool. Staying here was a complete waste of time. Leave. Or stay. For a moment, the two of them didn't know how to choose. However, this matter wasn't leaked out. If it was leaked out, it would be a bit shameful. No matter what, with their powerful strength, it was a joke that they would lose to Longao. Within the Primal Chaos Palace, Longao was also a little troubled. Although he had succeeded in keeping the two of them here, he was not strong enough to kill them with his current strength. As for Starry Sky World Masters, unless he could continuously break through and become a titled World Emperor, he might have a chance to deal with the two of them. If he wanted to break through quickly, there was only one way, and that was to devour the mysterious energy within the primal chaos hall. However, the most helpless thing right now was that the mysterious energy within the primal chaos hall wasn't something that he could control. In other words, even he didn't know when the power in the primal chaos palace would appear. It was all down to luck. Previously, his luck had been good. After devouring 2 powers, not only had he broken through from a Starry Sky Realm Master to a Starry Sky Realm King, he had even reached the level of a titled Realm King. If he could continue devouring the mysterious energy, it would not be difficult for him to continue breaking through. Just because the 2 of them didn't want to reveal this didn't mean that Longao didn't want to either. Longao did it on purpose. Devouring Heaven Domain. The news that Longao had defeated 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters quickly spread across all the planes. Everyone was shocked because everyone knew what it meant to be a Starry Sky Universe Master. How could Longao defeat a Starry Sky Universe Master? They couldn't figure it out. They really couldn't figure it out. The 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters didn't respond at all. Everyone knew that the news wasn't fake. Otherwise, the 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters would have responded immediately. When the 2 of them heard the news, they were furious. However, there was nothing they could do. Devouring Heaven Empire. When Chen Chen and Chen Ting heard the news, their first reaction was disbelief because they knew Longao's strength. Even they weren't a match for him, let alone 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters. If Longao was really so strong, he would have destroyed the Devouring Heaven Empire long ago. Why would he wait until now? It must be a rumor. As for why the 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters didn't come out to refute the rumor, Chen Chen and Chen Ting thought that the 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters didn't even bother to refute the rumor. After all, they didn't care about Longao at all. In the main hall of the Devouring Heaven Empire. Father, I've received news that the 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters are going all out to kill Longao. As for whether Longao is alive or dead, we don't know. Chen Ting was very concerned about Longao's life. Although they didn't care about Longao either, given Longao's talent and potential, no one could tell what would happen in the next 100 years. In just a few years, Longao had broken through from a grade 8 Starry Sky cultivator to a titled World King. Such talent was too terrifying. Although Chen Chen and Chen Ting didn't say much, they were very afraid of Longao. As long as the 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters deal with Longao, the chances of him surviving are very small. However, the secrets on Longao's body will benefit others. They were very unwilling. Longao had too many secrets. It would be a lie to say that they didn't want to obtain them. How could Chen Ting not know what his father was thinking? After thinking for a while, he continued, "Father, why don't we follow the 2 of them secretly? If we're lucky enough, we might be able to take advantage of them." "We can't do that. I know their personalities very well. If we anger them, not only us, but the entire empire will be in trouble. Before we have full confidence, it's best that we don't act rashly." Chen Chen was very worried. No matter what, Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil were Starry Sky Universe Masters. With such terrifying strength, they weren't existences that they could contend against. Chen Ting smiled helplessly. A single Longao was enough to cause chaos in the empire. It was really a headache. Such a thing had never happened before. The heaven-devouring empire didn't make any moves. In everyone's opinion, Longao wouldn't take action against the heaven-devouring empire for the next 100 years. Even if Longao wanted to, he wouldn't be able to do so. The 2 Starry Sky Universe Masters tried their best to find Longao's trace, but they were helpless to the extreme. They still could not find any trace of Longao. The more they searched, the more frustrated they became. The more they searched, the more they couldn't locate Longao. "Brother Linghu, we can't go on like this. Even if we don't return to the First Empire, we have to think of a way to deal with Longao." Linghu Yarrow knew what the Black Mountain Old Devil meant. After thinking for a while, he said, "You're right. With just the 2 of us, we won't be able to locate Longao. However, you should know that we'll be in big trouble if we rely on external help." Chapter 22-25. If we don't use external forces, But we can't lock onto Longao's position, it's still nonsense. They knew that if they used external help to deal with Longao, they would have to give up everything that Longao had. How could they be willing to do that? However, they were helpless. What could they do even if they were unwilling? After all, they couldn't locate Longao with their strength. They had no choice. In the end, they still chose to rely on external help. Black Mountain Old Devil, whose strength do you think we should rely on? The two of them knew that by relying on strength alone, they could not lock onto Longao's position, nor could they break through the Starry Sky divine tool in Longao's hand. Therefore, they had to find someone with special divine powers. Jen Wudi. Ling Hu Yarrow nodded and said, not only is Jen Wudi powerful, but he also has special divine powers. If I'm not wrong, Jen Wudi should be able to locate Longao and break the Starry Sky divine weapon in Longao's hand. The Black Mountain Old Demon's expression was grave. This was because the Black Mountain Old Demon knew very well what it meant to be invincible. If they used Jen Wudi's power, it would be troublesome. You should know what Jen Wudi means. Black Mountain Old Devil, we have to seek Jen Wudi's help now that things have come to this. I heard that Jen Wudi is in the sky-devouring territory. He seemed to be curious. What is Jen Wudi doing here? I don't know, but I can contact him. 3 days later, they found Jen Wudi, a burly man with sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes. He was Jen Wudi, a titled universe master. Not only was he more powerful than them, but he also had various divine powers. Even the Starry Sky Realm Emperor might not dare to provoke him. Jen Wudi was a difficult person to deal with. No one in the First Empire was willing to provoke Jen Wudi. Is what you said true? They seemed to be afraid of Jen Wudi. No matter what, Jen Wudi was powerful and he had a strange temper. Although they were both from the First Empire, they knew that they were not on the same side as Jen Wudi. Jen Wudi attacked without hesitation. Ling Hu Yarrow smiled and said, Brother Jen, what we just said is true. As long as we can lock onto Longao's location, we can get what we want. Jen Wudi smiled, a rare smile. According to the two of them, the treasures on Longao's body were indeed very attractive. Even he could not resist such temptation. Don't worry, the two of you. If I can kill this person, you can each take one of the items. One item? The two of them cursed in their hearts. They had already guessed this outcome, but the two of them were still a little unhappy. However, there was nothing he could do about it. In this world, the strong were respected. Thank you, Brother Jen. Jen Wudi brought the two of them to search for traces of Longao everywhere. The three of them felt helpless because they had already lost track of Longao. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for them to continue locking onto his position. It was almost impossible. However, they had no choice. For the sake of Longao's treasures, the three of them did not choose to give up and continued to search for Longao's traces. In fact, the three of them did not know that Longao had been following them. However, the Chaos Hall was too powerful. Not only were the two Starry Sky Universe Masters unable to sense the location of the Chaos Hall, but even Jen Wudi, a titled Universe Master, could not sense the location of the Chaos Hall. In the Chaos Hall, Longao felt helpless because he could clearly sense that the burly man beside the two of them was a titled Universe Master and his strength was far superior to the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. However, for Jen Wushuang, whether it was a Starry Sky Universe Master or a titled Universe Master, it would take him a month. Anyway, with his normal strength, he was no match for the three of them. Longao finally appeared. Looking at the three of them in front of him, Longao asked, May I ask who you are? Jen Wudi. You also want to obtain my treasures? That's right. Jen Wudi looked curious because he could sense that Jen Wushuang was really a titled Universe King and that Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon had not lied to him. This was why he was really curious. He did not know what gave Longao the courage to provoke the heaven-devouring Empire and the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. Could it be that he had the help of a Starry Sky divine weapon? However, after thinking about it, he understood. No matter what, Longao had such a powerful Starry Sky divine weapon and could ignore the two Starry Sky Universe Masters. In fact, Even Gen Wudi himself was not completely confident that he could lock onto Longao's starry sky divine weapon. I really want to know if you will be as shameless as them. What do you mean? Gen Wudi did not know what had happened previously. However, he was very curious about Longao. He had high expectations for him. It was obvious that Longao had purposely recounted the events that had happened previously. After hearing this, Gen Wudi snorted out coldly. His tone was filled with mockery and disdain. After all, when one's cultivation state reached their cultivation state, they would not be this shameless under normal circumstances. It was still the same old saying. Even though they were all from the number 1 empire, they were not friends. Longao, I will not be as shameless as them. I believe you. Longao knew Gen Wudi's character from the first time he saw him. If it was someone else, they would have already attacked him. The two of you lost to Longao, so you should keep your promise. If you do that, it's really shameless. The two of them cursed inwardly. However, they dared not voice their anger. After all, Gen Wudi's strength was clear for all to see. If they angered him and he attacked them, the two of them would die without even knowing what had happened. They knew that the number 1 empire would definitely choose Gen Wudi and not the two of them if they went to war. Brother Gen, it's time to attack. It was not easy for Longao to appear on his own. If he really entered the Starry Sky Spirit artifact and escaped far away, wouldn't all his efforts be in vain? Being attacked by Gen Wudi was not important. The most important thing was to kill Longao and get what he wanted. Then, everything would be fine. What about Gen Wudi? Shaking his head, he said with a smile, Gentlemen, I suddenly changed my mind. I don't know how shameless you are. So now, let me tell you, I have no cooperation with you. So, if you want to kill Longao, it's better for you to do it yourself. Huh. Hearing Gen Wudi's words, both Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Demon were completely stunned. This was because they had never expected Gen Wudi to go back on his words. Chapter 22-26. If they could kill Longao, would they still need to borrow Gen Wudi's strength? They weren't worried about Longao's strength, but Longao's ability to enter the universe artifact. They cursed Gen Wudi in their hearts. Even so, they didn't dare to say anything. Brother Gen, we're from the First Empire. I won't repeat myself. They knew Gen Wudi's character very well. He wouldn't change his mind easily once he decided on something. Longao, if you're a man, don't hide in the universe artifact. Let's have a fair fight. What do you think? A fair fight? Hearing their words, Longao laughed. Gen Wudi laughed as well. There was only one meaning behind their laughter. Both Black Mountain Old Devil and Fox Demon knew it very well. However, under such circumstances, they would definitely choose to ignore it. It was as if they had already forgotten about what happened before. If I'm not mistaken, we've already fought before, and you've already lost. Longao, let's have another fight. If we lose this time, we'll definitely keep our promise. They still believed that there was something fishy about the previous fight. If Longao could really defeat them, why didn't he do it? There was only one explanation. The explanation was that Longao didn't have the strength to defeat them. As for the previous fight, it was just a bluff. Especially at this moment, Longao didn't dare to fight at all. They were even more certain that Longao wasn't their match. Thinking of this, Longao, do you dare to fight? Do you think I'll still believe you? Without giving the two of them a chance to continue speaking, Longao continued, you two better save it. I, Longao, will definitely kill you in the future. You. At this moment, Gen Wudi suddenly said, Longao, I'd like to see how you shattered the universe. Is it convenient? So courteous? The two of them could not figure out why Gen Wudi was so polite to Longao. Could it be that Gen Wudi was afraid of Longao? It was a little ridiculous. Gen Wudi was a genuine titled world sovereign while Longao was only a titled world king. The difference between the two was simply too great. They weren't even on the same level. Did Gen Wudi need to fear Longao? Gen Wudi did not say anything, and neither of them dared to ask. Sure. Without any hesitation, Longao reached out his right hand and gently clenched it in their direction. A shocking scene ensued. The space around the two of them was forcibly torn apart, and cracks appeared in the starry sky. Not only that, but the spatial rift was also being forcefully compressed. Fortunately, the two of them were prepared and immediately escaped. But even so, the two of them were still shocked. In the previous battle, they had been defeated because Longao had used this move. However, the two of them were almost certain that even if Longao could shatter the starry sky and compress the crack in the starry sky, he wouldn't be able to kill the two of them. The absolute difference in cultivation realm couldn't be made up for by other things. If Longao's cultivation realm could continue to break through and become a titled world emperor, he might be able to kill them with this move. But not now. It was because of this that the two of them wanted to eliminate the source of trouble once and for all. Looking at Longao's disdainful expression, Gen Wudi was completely shocked. At first, when the two of them told him about this, Gen Wudi didn't believe them at all. This was because breaking the starry sky and compressing the spatial rift was something that was almost unheard of. Not to mention others, even the 12 sovereigns of the vast starry sky seemed to be unable to do this. Gen Wudi couldn't figure out how Longao did it. Longao, can you tell me the secret behind this move? It would be a lie to say that he wasn't greedy. Gen Wudi knew very well what it meant to have Longao's move. If he could get his hands on this move, he could definitely kill the Starry Sky Realm Emperor with his own strength. He could even fight against a titled Realm Emperor. This kind of move was a little too heaven-defying. Even though Gen Wudi knew that he shouldn't ask about it, he couldn't help but ask. Not to mention Gen Wudi, even Ling Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Devil wanted to know. Shrugging his shoulders helplessly, Longao said helplessly, "Brother Gen, to be honest, this move of mine is called Starry Sky Control. I awakened it by accident. As for how I got it, I don't even know myself. Only a fool would believe you." "Shut up." Hearing Gen Wudi's words, the two of them shut their mouths obediently. Gen Wudi nodded and said, "Brother Long, I believe what you said. Such a heaven-defying ability must have been awakened by you and not acquired. I can say with certainty that with Brother Long's current strength, with the help of the Starry Sky, even the Starry Sky World Emperor would not be your opponent." Without a real battle, Longao didn't know how powerful Starry Sky Control was. However, he knew very well how powerful it was. If he faced the Starry Sky Realm Emperor, he should be able to win. "Brother Gen, I don't have any grudges with the First Empire. As for the grudges between me and the Heaven-Devouring Empire, I believe they have already told you. They were the ones who attacked me for no reason." "I understand." Gen Wudi turned around and said with a sneer, "Longao is my friend. We hit it off at first sight. However, I won't interfere in the grudges between you two." Gen Wudi knew his own identity. He didn't care who was right or wrong. After all, both of them were from the First Empire. If he helped Longao openly, he wouldn't be able to answer to the Empire. The best way was to not interfere. Both of them cursed in their hearts. However, they said, "No problem. Take care, Brother Gen. We'll leave first." Both of them had never thought that things would develop to this stage. If they had known, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. Both of them were extremely regretful. However, things had already happened. Both of them knew that it was useless to regret. They had to leave this place first and wait for another chance. Just as the two of them were about to leave, "Hold on. What's the matter, Brother Gen?" The two of them were actually very worried in their hearts, because they knew Gen Wudi's personality very well. If Gen Wudi really wanted to help Longao deal with the two of them, then the two of them would not be Gen Wudi's match at all, and would definitely die. They hoped that Gen Wudi didn't want to deal with them. Whether it was Longao or Gen Wudi, they could guess what the two of them were thinking. They despised them even more. As Starry Sky Realm Masters, they didn't have the domineering aura of a Starry Sky Realm Master. "This time, I came to the heaven-devouring world mainly because the Empire has a mission. We're lacking 2 people. Follow me." Chapter 22-27. Brother Gen, Please enlighten us. The two of them did not dare to believe Gen Wudi. What if Gen Wudi took them to a mysterious place and killed them? Wouldn't the two of them die for no reason? Just follow me. If I want to kill you, I can do it anywhere. Thinking about Gen Wudi's character, that was indeed the case. If Gen Wudi really wanted to kill the two of them, he wouldn't have to go through so much trouble. Brother Long, are you willing to make a trip? I want to know what's going on first. Although Gen Wudi felt like old friends at first sight, one could never judge a book by its cover. Who knew where Gen Wudi wanted to bring them? No matter what, Gen Wudi was still a member of the number 1 empire. According to the news that the empire received, a peerless divine sword appeared in the devouring region. Legend has it that this peerless divine sword can shatter the starry sky. Peerless divine sword? Longao knew very well that a divine sword that Gen Wudi thought so highly of must be extraordinary. How confident are you? 1%. That's just a rumor. If it's true, the Empire wouldn't have sent me alone. All right, I'll go with you. The four of them set off at the same time. Among the four of them, Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil were the most depressed. They were extremely depressed. They never expected that Gen Wudi would suddenly help Longao. If that was the case, the two of them would not be able to do anything. If not for the fact that they were weaker than Gen Wudi, they would have attacked long ago. Brother Gen, if I'm not wrong, you should have a clue, right? Longao was no fool. He knew very well that Gen Wudi wouldn't have invited him over if he didn't have a clue. As expected. Gen Wudi smiled and said with admiration, "You're right. After decades of investigation, I finally got a clue. As for whether it's true or not, I'm not very sure. Therefore, I can't report this to the Empire." Couldn't he report it? It wasn't just Longao. The other two had already guessed what Gen Wudi was thinking. Gen Wudi was a sword cultivator. Who would believe that he wouldn't want a peerless divine sword that could shatter the starry sky? It was human nature. Not to mention Gen Wudi, no matter who encountered such a situation, he believed that it would be the same. Between the First Empire and the unparalleled godly sword, Gen Wudi would undoubtedly choose the unparalleled godly sword over the First Empire. Brother Gen, do you know where this place is? Seeing Longao and Gen Wudi calling each other brothers, the Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Demon gnashed their teeth in anger. Longao was only a titled world king while the two of them were starry sky world venerables. There was simply no comparison between the two. But what was the result? Gen Wudi completely ignored the two of them. Instead, he placed great importance on Longao. If he had the chance, he would definitely kill Gen Wudi. The two of them thought in their hearts viciously. However, both of them had already decided that if they had the chance, they would definitely snatch that peerless godly sword. After all, the temptation was simply too great. A mysterious low-level plane. A low-level plane? The three of them were very curious. In the vast starry sky, there were countless planes. They were divided into three major levels: high-level planes, middle-level planes, and low-level planes. Among the three major planes, only the low-level planes did not have the power of the starry sky. Therefore, it was impossible to become a starry sky cultivator in the low-level planes. Only those who became starry sky cultivators in other planes could enter the low-level planes. Would anyone believe that there was a peerless godly sword in a low-level plane? However, the three of them did not have any doubts. They all chose to believe it. Given Gen Wudi's character, he would not casually say it unless he was completely confident. However, the three of them were very curious. Since Gen Wudi had already locked onto the location of the peerless godly sword, why did he not go there himself but instead told them? As long as Gen Wudi snatched the peerless godly sword by himself, who would know if he did not say anything? If the First Empire knew about this, would Gen Wudi be able to keep the peerless godly sword for himself? Definitely not. Therefore, the three of them could not figure it out. As if he could guess what the three of them were thinking, Gen Wudi said helplessly, "If possible, I would definitely enter the low-level plane alone and snatch the peerless godly sword. Could there be something fishy about this? I have already entered the low-level plane once. However, I realized that I could not break the seal with my strength alone. Therefore, I need the help of the three of you. I am a fair person. When the seal is broken, the three of you can snatch it. No matter who obtains the peerless godly sword, I will not have any objections. Do we have a chance? Longao had never thought of snatching the peerless godly sword. However, Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Demon did not think so. This was because Gen Wudi's strength was clear for all to see. If the two of them tried to snatch the peerless godly sword and were intercepted by Gen Wudi, they would not even have the chance to cry. Although there was only a difference of one level between a Starry Sky Universe Master and a titled Universe Master, the gap between the two was insurmountable. Was it worth it to offend a titled Universe Master for a godly sword? If it was the godhead of a titled Universe Master or a Starry Sky Universe Emperor, the two of them would definitely snatch it even if they had to risk their lives. Unknowingly, the four of them had already arrived at a mysterious low-level plane. There was no one in this low-level plane. According to Gen Wudi, everyone in this low-level plane had been driven away by him. He did not want to cause the destruction of the entire plane because of him. Regardless of what Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Demon thought, Longao admired Gen Wudi. The three of you, I have already sealed this plane. Unless another titled Universe Master or an expert of a higher level descends, no one will be able to break the seal that I have set up. Thus, you don't have to worry that this secret will be leaked. In fact, the three of them did not care. After all, the First Empire had sent Gen Wudi here. The person who wanted to obtain the peerless godly sword the most was not the three of them but Gen Wudi. Let's go in. The four of them did not hesitate and immediately stepped into the low-level plane. There was no aura in the entire plane. Not only had all the people been moved away by Gen Wudi, but all the spiritual beasts had also been moved away by Gen Wudi. In other words, there was not a single living being in the low-level plane. Brother Gen, where is the exact location of the peerless godly sword? It's in the southeast direction. Follow me. Gen Wudi led the way while the three of them followed behind him. The four of them sped up to their maximum speed. Within a few seconds, the four of them had arrived at their destination. It was a desolate wasteland, surrounded by a strange aura. Chapter 22-28. If not for Gen Wudi leading the way, it would be hard for anyone to find this place. This place was a low-level plane. Brother Gen, have you found the entrance? That's right. Gen Wudi slashed his sword forward. The power of using his finger as a sword was no small matter. A spatial stone door appeared in mid-air. The spatial stone door emitted a terrifying power of space. Let's go. The four of them immediately disappeared into the spatial stone door. As the four of them disappeared, the spatial stone door also disappeared. All around them was a vast expanse of whiteness. Brother Gen, is the seal you mentioned here? That's right. Gen Wudi nodded helplessly. He looked at the white vortex that was spinning crazily in front of him and said helplessly, "This is the seal to enter the space. I've tried many times but I can't break the seal." Brother Gen, do you mean that the four of us should join forces? That's right. The three of them knew that even Gen Wudi couldn't break the seal. Even if the three of them joined forces, they wouldn't be able to break the seal. Two Starry Sky World Venerables and a titled World King working together were not a match for a titled World Venerate. He seemed to be able to guess what the three of them were thinking. Gen Wudi thought for a moment and said, "Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Devil are definitely not qualified. However, Brother Long, with your Starry Sky control and my sword energy, we should be able to break the seal." The two of them felt helpless. Gen Wudi had been humiliating them because of his powerful strength. They didn't dare to voice their anger and could only endure it. Since that's the case, let's begin. Longao and Gen Wudi were already prepared. At this moment, Gen Wudi said, "The two of you, we will break the seal later. You have to stabilize the seal immediately. Otherwise, we won't be able to step in." Understood. They did as he said. Gen Wudi used his finger as a sword. Longao used his Starry Sky control. Terrifying sword energy instantly shot out and started to hit the seal. At this moment, Longao used his starry sky control and cracks started to appear on the seal. He started to forcefully compress it. As expected. Just as Jen Wudi had expected, the two of them joined forces and forcefully broke the seal. Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Devil didn't hesitate and immediately started to stabilize the seal. Let's go. The speed of the four of them was extremely fast. Taking advantage of the fact that the seal had yet to fuse, the four of them had already disappeared without a trace. They were surrounded by a dense forest. Is this another plane? That's right, this is definitely another plane of existence. The four of them instantly confirmed that the space they had forcefully broken through the seal and entered was simply another space plane. Jen Wudi sensed for a moment and said solemnly, according to my senses, this plane space should have been sealed by an expert. If I'm not mistaken, the person who sealed this plane space should be the owner of this peerless sword. The three nodded in agreement. The four of them were almost certain that the peerless powerhouse who sealed this space had already fallen. Otherwise, with this person's super strength, it was impossible for him to seal this space. Longao hadn't spoken a word since he stepped into this plane. His expression was both solemn and pleasantly surprised. Brother Long, did you sense something? Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Devil also looked at Longao. Brother Jen, I can clearly sense that this plane space has the aura of a starry sky immortal. According to my guess, if I'm not mistaken, the peerless powerhouse who sealed this plane space, which is the owner of this peerless sword, should be a starry sky immortal. Starry sky immortal? The three of them were shocked when they heard Longao's words. The three of them clearly knew what a starry sky immortal meant. A starry sky immortal was the most valiant existence in the vast starry sky other than the 12 rulers of the starry sky. Since the 12 rulers of the starry sky had fallen countless years ago, a starry sky immortal was the most powerful powerhouse in the vast starry sky. However, just like the rulers of the starry sky, a starry sky immortal was elusive. If the person who sealed this plane space was a starry sky immortal, wouldn't it mean that there was a starry sky immortal godhead here? Brother Jen, your guess is right. There should be a godhead left behind by this powerhouse. The three of them were overjoyed because they knew very well that if they could devour the starry sky immortal godhead, there was a 99% chance that they could reach the starry sky immortal realm. At that time, no one in the vast starry sky would be their match. Since the 12 rulers of the starry sky had fallen, a starry sky immortal was the most powerful powerhouse. Before the three of them could speak, Longao continued, Brother Jen, you have to be careful. Although there is a starry sky immortal godhead here, the starry sky immortal has set up many obstacles. If we are not careful, we will die without a burial place. The three of them who were overjoyed a moment ago felt as though they had been doused with a basin of cold water. The three of them knew very well how powerful the obstacles set up by a starry sky immortal were. Brother Long, what should we do now? Although they didn't know how Longao had sensed it, the three of them knew very well that they had to rely on Longao. Otherwise, not to mention obtaining the starry sky immortal godhead and the peerless divine sword, they might not even be able to leave this place alive. Brother Jen, I have no obligation to help the other two shameless things. What did you say? The two of them had a temper. After being humiliated by Longao again and again, they were furious. They were afraid of Jen Wudi, but they weren't afraid of Longao. So what if Longao could control the starry sky? If Longao had the strength to do so, why wait until now? I've made myself very clear. Brother Jen and I feel like old friends at first sight. We can be considered friends, so of course we can help each other. As for your life and death, it has nothing to do with me. I hope you two can take care of yourselves and leave this place alive. It would be a lie to say that they weren't afraid. In any case, Longao always had the starry sky divine tool in his hand. If he encountered danger, he could enter the starry sky divine tool at any time. Not to mention whether he could get the starry sky immortal godhead and the peerless divine sword, just leaving here alive should not be a problem. But what about the two of them? They didn't have any starry sky immortal godhead to hide in. What would they do if they encountered danger? Although they didn't want to believe Longao's words, their intuition told them that Longao's words couldn't be false. Therefore, they couldn't leave Longao's side. Chapter 22-29. Would Longao help the two of them? There was no doubt about it. Not to mention Longao, even if it were the two of them, they would definitely not help their enemy. Brother Jen, you won't kick us to the curb after we've outlived our usefulness, right? All their hopes were pinned on Jen Wudi. The two of them knew that Jen Wudi wouldn't give up on the two of them given his character. No matter what, the two of them were from the First Empire. As for whether Jen Wudi would help the two of them, neither Linghu Yarrow nor Old Devil Black Mountain was confident. Brother Long, how about giving me some face? Looking at Jen Wudi in front of him, Longao nodded in the end. The two of them finally heaved a sigh of relief. However, the two of them weren't fools. They knew that even if Longao agreed, he had to be on guard. Who knew if Longao would suddenly kill them when they were in danger? However, things had already come to this point. Even if they were unhappy, what could they do? They were like lambs in a wolf's den. Helpless, the two of them could only compromise. Brother Long, what should we do now? Jen Wudi certainly knew what Longao meant. As long as there was a chance, he believed that Longao would definitely kill the two of them. There was nothing he could do about it. However, Jen Wudi didn't care about the life and death of the two of them. As long as he could get the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead and the Unparalleled Divine Sword, he would be able to kill the two of them easily. Follow me. Longao took the lead and the three of them followed closely behind. The four of them slowly moved forward. The three of them were like headless flies. They didn't know where to go because no one was confident that they could pass the death trap left behind by a Starry Sky Immortal Realm expert. If they couldn't pass it, they would definitely die. The three of them were extremely frustrated. At this point, it was as if they had handed their lives to Longao. They didn't even know if they would live or die. Jen Wudi might be fine, but Linghu Yarrow and Old Devil Black Mountain were extremely worried. Should they go their separate ways? The two of them didn't dare to. Should they continue to follow? They were also afraid that Longao would play tricks. He was at a loss to the extreme. Aura lock. Right at this moment, Linghu Yarrow cried out. They could clearly sense that the four of them had been locked onto by a mysterious aura. They couldn't act recklessly. Otherwise, they would be in great trouble if this mysterious aura attacked them. Longao, are you doing this on purpose? If you want to kill us, just say it. Why do you have to do this? Sensing that their auras had locked onto them, the two of them instantly targeted Longao. If it weren't for Jen Wudi's presence, the two of them would have attacked long ago instead of waiting until now. He snorted coldly. Shut up if you don't want to die. As for the two of them, Longao was also extremely depressed. Jen Wudi also said coldly, if the two of you don't want to, please leave. Seeing that Jen Wudi was really angry, the two of them had no choice but to shut up. Brother Long, the aura here is not simple. Let's not act rashly. Otherwise, once the aura attacks, we will be in big trouble. Longao nodded. How could he not know what Jen Wudi meant? Brother Jen, I have a way to avoid the aura lock. Tell me about it. Jen Wudi asked impatiently. He knew very well what the aura here meant. Even Jen Wudi couldn't help but feel worried. Retreat in order to advance. Retreat in order to advance. Longao's idea was actually very simple. The four of them would attack their surroundings at the same time. When they found an opportunity, they would immediately seize the opportunity to leave. Left with no choice, the other three could only choose to join forces. The four of them attacked at the same time. They were originally going to attack their surroundings, but they chose to attack a certain point. With a loud boom, before the four of them could react, the aura had already started to attack. The four of them were shocked. The four of them stood back to back and immediately started to defend themselves. As for counterattacking, it was useless. After all, the aura attack was an invisible attack. The four of them didn't even know where to attack. Fortunately, the aura attack increased with the strength of the four of them. Even so, Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Demon were extremely depressed. This was because they weren't titled Universe Masters but Starry Sky Universe Masters. As for Longao, he wasn't too worried. Using his finger as a sword, he continued to attack his surroundings with sword chi. Currently, the sword chi that Longao possessed was no longer reincarnation sword chi. As for what kind of sword chi it was, even he didn't know. However, Longao could clearly sense that the sword chi that he possessed was far more powerful than reincarnation sword chi. Starry Sky Control. Longao used sword chi to block the aura attack while using Starry Sky Control. The surrounding space started to crack and it was forcefully compressed. The surrounding aura attacks were all devoured by the space crack. Jen Wudi and the other two were delighted. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the four of them left. In a short while, the four of them had disappeared without a trace. After running for dozens of minutes, the four of them gradually came to a stop. The aura around them also disappeared. The four of them then heaved a sigh of relief. The four of them looked gloomy as they knew that it was indeed very dangerous. With every step they took, they didn't know what would happen next. Longao, you'd better sense it clearly next time. If you continue to lead us into danger, we won't go easy on you. You're still too inexperienced to play dirty. The two of them had always thought that Longao was doing this on purpose. Fortunately, they were lucky. Otherwise, they would have died here. Longao's face was gloomy as he said coldly, "Brother Jen, it's not that I don't want to give you face this time. It's just that some people are too shameless. If you insist on doing this, I can only take my leave." Longao didn't want to give Jen Wudi any face. In his opinion, if Jen Wudi continued to act like this, who knew what would happen? The two of them were simply shameless to the extreme. What happened just now was clearly an accident. If he could determine the location at will, he would have easily obtained the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead and the Peerless Divine Sword. "Brother Long, please wait a moment." Jen Wudi also knew that Longao had made up his mind at this moment. Otherwise, he wouldn't have not given him face. However, after thinking about it, the two of them were really too much. If he continued to help them, wouldn't he be driving Longao away? If it was any other time, it would be fine. However, without Longao's help, he might not even be able to leave this place alive, let alone obtain the treasure. Chapter 2230. Brother Jen cannot be humiliated. Longao's attitude was extremely firm. Jen Wudi was not a fool. He knew very well that if this continued, even if it was him, Longao would be disgusted. If that was the case, they would be in big trouble. "The two of you should leave on your own. Whether you live or die will depend on your luck." Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Demon regretted their decision. They knew that they had to rely on Longao, but they still provoked him. They were asking for trouble. Although the two of them were Starry Sky Universe Masters, they did not dare to leave casually because they knew the current situation very well. If they left, it would be hard to say whether they would live or die. Black Mountain Old Devil chuckled. They were as despicable as they could be. He said with a despicable smile, "Longao, Brother Linghu Yarrow was too impulsive. We didn't mean it that way. Please forgive us. We can guarantee that there won't be a next time." It was rare for the two of them to lower their heads and admit their mistake. They wouldn't have done that if it were any other time. No matter what, they were Starry Sky Universe Masters. They were superior existences. In their eyes, Longao was like an ant if he didn't have a Starry Sky divine weapon. Jen Wudi was curious too. He had never thought that the two of them would lower their heads at this moment. It seemed that they were really afraid. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done that. "Brother Long, why don't we give them another chance? It was always a good thing to have more power." Jen Wudi was very clear about the current situation. If the two of them left and encountered danger, it would be very difficult for him and Longao to resist. In Jen Wudi's heart, he was unwilling to let the two of them leave. "They can stay, but they have to promise me one thing." "Please say it." Before Jen Wudi could say anything, the two of them had already asked. A wise man knew better than to fight when the odds were against him. No matter what happened, they would stay behind first. As for the future, once they found an opportunity, they believed that the two of them would not hesitate to kill Longao. Regarding the shamelessness of these two people, how could Longao not know? Longao did not take the two of them to heart. He was fully confident that he could step into the primal chaos palace at any time. Not to mention the two of them, even Jen Wudi might not be as fast as him. Jen Wudi remained silent. Longao gradually became the leader here. My request is very simple. From now on, you have to call me boss. No. Both Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil immediately rejected the offer without even thinking. What a joke. Boss. Although it wasn't difficult to say the word boss, it was a little difficult for them. Forget about calling Longao boss, even if it was Jen Wudi, the two of them would not call him that. The two of them knew what Longao meant. He just wanted to humiliate the two of them. Jen Wudi was a little unhappy. Longao was too much. However, he did not say anything. No matter what, both of them were in the wrong. Moreover, it was obvious that Longao had the upper hand in the current situation. Brother Jen, let's go. Before the two of them could speak, Longao said again, even if you try to follow me, I have ways to kill you with the help of the surrounding environment. It's up to you to believe it or not. I hope you won't regret it when the time comes. His words were clear and direct. The more Longao said this, the more ugly and gloomy their faces became. The two of them did not know if Longao was telling the truth. If it was true, it would be more dangerous for them to follow Longao. In that case, the losses would outweigh the gains. Did they really have to call him boss? They were a little unwilling. They were a little angry. However, what could they do in this situation? What could they do even if they were unwilling? The two of them were helpless to the extreme. As Starry Sky World Venerables, they were being humiliated by a mere titled world king. This was the greatest humiliation in their lives. Agree? Or not? For a moment, the two of them could not make up their minds. If they shouted, where would their face go? If they did not shout, what awaited them would be death. They would not have the slightest chance because the aura attack just now was not something they could withstand. Looking at Longao, who was about to turn and leave, the two of them became anxious and shouted in unison, "Boss." Hearing the word boss, Longao smiled, while Jen Wudi shook his head helplessly. He had seen arrogant people before, but he had never seen someone as arrogant as Longao. Humiliating two Starry Sky World Venerables was simply courting death. Even if he had the upper hand now, what would happen when he left this place? If it was someone else, they would definitely not dare to do this. Only Longao did. However, after thinking about it, Jen Wudi was very clear that Longao must have done this because he had a Starry Sky divine weapon. Not to mention the two of them, even Jen Wudi himself might not be able to lock onto Longao's position and break the Starry Sky divine weapon. This was also the reason why Longao was so confident. He was a rare talent. If this person could be recruited into the First Empire, it would be a good thing for the Empire. This was what the two of them were thinking. Linghu Yarrow and Old Devil Black Mountain only thought of how to deal with Longao, but they had never thought of recruiting talents for the First Empire. However, Jen Wudi did not think so. This was the difference between them. Be good. Be good. Longao actually said be good. Hearing the word obedient, both Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Demon's expressions sunk. Their expressions were as ugly as they could be. The reason for that was because Longao was simply humiliating them. This was intolerable. So what if they couldn't tolerate it? As for Jen Wudi, he smiled helplessly and said, "All right, this matter ends here. The two of you better behave yourselves. If there is a next time, don't blame me for being impolite." Ignoring the two of them, Longao turned around and left. Jen Wudi followed closely behind. The two of them stood where they were and stared at the figure that was gradually disappearing. Their eyes were emitting a murderous aura. It was a cold, murderous aura. "Longao, just you wait. If I, Linghu Yarrow, don't kill you, I swear I'm not human." The Old Devil Black Mountain's voice was extremely cold as he said, "As long as we seize the opportunity and attack with all our might, we will kill Jen Wudi if he dares to attack. Ling Hu Yarrow nodded in agreement and said coldly, Gen Wudi, what a good Gen Wudi. To think that you have been helping Longao to humiliate us. Since you are heartless, don't blame us for being heartless. The two of them were already determined to kill. Not only did they want to kill Longao, but they also wanted to kill Gen Wudi. As long as they seized the opportunity, they would not let go of it. They would kill Gen Wudi without hesitation. From this, one could see how shameless the two of them were. Chapter 2231. Brother Long, you've gone too far. How could Longao not understand Gen Wudi's intention? No matter what, they were both starry sky world paragons. Offending them would be troublesome in the future. But would Longao care? Since he dared to humiliate them, he was not afraid of them. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done what he did just now. Longao did not mind at all. He smiled and said, some people are despicable. You have to ruthlessly humiliate them. Otherwise, they won't even know who they are. Brother Gen, I know what you're afraid of. But let me tell you, if it's possible, the two of them won't even let you go. Gen Wudi sighed helplessly. Gen Wudi was not a fool. How could he not know what kind of people they were? But could he kill the two of them? Although Gen Wudi was a loner with a ruthless personality, he was still very loyal to the First Empire. Otherwise, why would Gen Wudi always help the two of them? He didn't want to think about it anymore. Then, he looked around. Longao's face turned solemn. He said, Brother Gen, something is wrong here. You have to be careful. He was shocked. Gen Wudi trusted Longao very much. He sensed the surroundings vigilantly to see what was going on. Brother Long, what's going on? At this moment, Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon caught up to them. Seeing the two standing still and looking around vigilantly, the two seemed to have guessed what was going on. They took 2 steps forward and came to the two. In the end, they were still afraid. As starry sky world paragons, their courage was nothing to be proud of. Longao was too lazy to look down on them. He said, according to my senses, if I'm not mistaken, there should be a starry sky divine beast here. Starry sky divine beast? The three asked in unison. If it was just a starry sky divine beast, they wouldn't care. After all, starry sky divine beasts were different from starry sky cultivators. If it was a starry sky realm emperor level starry sky divine beast, the 4 of them wouldn't be able to fight it. Longao seemed to be able to guess their thoughts. He thought for a while and said, the 3 of you, you have to be prepared. Brother Long, is it really the realm monarch's divine beast? The trio's face turned gloomy as they knew very well what a realm monarch's godly beast meant. Longao shook his head. Huh. Looking at Longao's solemn expression, the 3 of them seemed to have guessed something. Longao, don't tell me that the space god beast here is the world ancestor god beast. He could not believe it. The realm monarch divine beast was already not something they could handle. If it was the world ancestor divine beast, there would be no need for them to fight at all. In fact, to the 4 of them, whether it was the realm monarch or world ancestor, they were all the same. Longao still shook his head. The 3 of them were completely dumbfounded. If it wasn't the realm monarch's divine beast or world ancestor's divine beast, could it be? As if they had guessed something, the 3 of them asked helplessly, could it be an almighty divine beast? Above the universe monarch was the universe monarch, universe ancestor, and above that were the so-called universe almighty, universe legend, and universe immortal. If it wasn't the realm monarch's divine beast or world ancestor's divine beast, then it was very likely that it was one of the 3 realms above, a legendary existence. The 4 of them were really unlucky. Legendary divine beast. Although they had already guessed it, when they heard Longao say it out loud, their hearts couldn't help but thump. This was because they knew very well what a legendary divine beast meant. In front of a legendary divine beast, the 4 of them didn't even have the chance to fight back. But at this moment, Longao, who originally had a solemn face, suddenly laughed. Longao laughed. What did this mean? Could it be that there was no legendary divine beast and Longao was just toying with the 3 of them? It was impossible. The three of them knew very well that Longao wouldn't do such a thing unless he had nothing better to do. Putting aside Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Devil, Jen Wudi believed that Longao wouldn't do such a thing. Brother Long, what is going on? Brother Jen, I don't know if our luck is too good. Although there is a legendary divine beast here, according to my senses, this legendary divine beast seems to be heavily injured. Moreover, it has been forcefully sealed here and is on the verge of death. At this time, if we can find this legendary divine beast. Speaking up to here, Longao did not continue speaking, but the meaning of his words was already very clear. Hearing this, the three of them were extremely surprised. Star divine beasts and star cultivators were no different. They could also refine star legendary divine sparks. In this case, as long as they could devour the star legendary divine sparks, they would have a chance to break through to the star legendary divine sparks. Star legendary divine sparks were legends. Even in the First Empire, they were high and mighty existences. Brother Long, where is the legendary divine beast? Although Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Devil didn't ask, they were extremely greedy. They couldn't wait to get their hands on this legendary divine beast. However, the two of them didn't ask because they knew that even if they asked, Longao might not tell them. Anyway, with Jen Wudi and their relationship, they believed that Longao wouldn't hide anything from them. Brother Jen, I know what you mean, but I have to remind you that although the legendary divine beast is severely injured and forcefully sealed, it is still very dangerous. If you insist on going, I will lead the way. The choice was left to the three of them. Jen Wudi didn't think too much about it, but Linghu Yarrow and Black Mountain Old Devil didn't think so. The two of them couldn't figure out why Longao would be so kind. After all, it was a legendary divine beast. If they could subdue or kill it, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for star cultivators. What do the two of you think? Brother Jen, we are willing to take the risk. Wait. At this time, Longao continued, let's make things clear first. This time, we are looking for a legend rank beast. I believe that it will be a narrow escape. If we are lucky enough to obtain this legend rank beast, how should we distribute it? This was a big problem, and the three of them were very clear about it. Brother Jen, I will say the ugly words first. I can accept a fair competition. No matter who it is, I believe that no one will say anything if they are capable of getting the legendary divine beast. However, if someone wants to be shameless, don't blame me for being merciless. Longao was obviously talking about the two of them. The two of them were already shameless enough to refuse to admit defeat. Hearing this, the two of them were infuriated. However, if they chose to be angry at this moment, it would only be bad. It wouldn't do them any good. The two of them had a feeling that Longao was deliberately provoking them. Chapter 2232. The two did not speak. At this point, the more they spoke, the more mistakes they would make. Because the two of them did not know whether Longao was doing this intentionally or not. If it was intentional, then wouldn't the two of them have to suffer in silence? No matter what, they had to find the Star Sky legendary divine beast first. Jen Wudi naturally knew that Longao's words were said for the two people to hear. Brother Long, we'll do as you say. Okay, in that case, I'll make it clear. When we find the legendary divine beast, we'll rely on our own abilities. As for the danger, I'll try my best to tell everyone. Try your best. Who was he kidding? The two chose not to believe him. If not for the fact that they could not leave this place, they would have left long ago. No problem. What about you? Seeing Longao asking the two of them, Ling Fox Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Demon forcefully suppressed the fury in their hearts. They smiled and nodded as they replied, we have no problem with that either. He seemed to be very satisfied with their attitude. In that case, let's go. Following Longao, the two's faces were as ugly as they could be. They hoped that they could find a chance to kill Longao and Jen Wudi in one fell swoop. As Starry Sky Universe Masters, they had never been humiliated like this. Longao must die. The four were very careful. They were on high alert and took every step carefully. Under the leadership of Longao, The three of them vigilantly sensed the surroundings, ready to deal with any danger that might appear at any time. Outside a huge valley. Longao looked at the huge valley in front of him and said, "The three of you, this is the place where the legend-rank divine beast is sealed. I can tell you clearly that this valley is filled with danger. Whether or not you can come out alive depends on luck." Longao's meaning was actually very clear. After entering the valley, whether or not one could come out alive depended not on one's strength, but on one's luck. Luck was the most important thing. If one's luck was bad, strength alone was far from enough. At first, they were full of confidence. But now, the three's faces were very serious because they were in a dilemma. Should they go in or not? If they went in, they would die. If they did not go in, they would lose a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They were in a dilemma. "Brother Jen, please." Even Jen Wudi did not dare to casually step into the valley. Life and death were unpredictable. Once he stepped in, no one knew what would happen next. However, Longao had already made his decision. Could it be that he was too afraid to step into the valley? Thinking of this, Jen Wudi nodded and smiled. "Let's go." "Where are the two of you?" Longao deliberately asked to see how the two of them would choose. In fact, Longao had already guessed that the Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Devil would not choose to step into the huge valley because he knew that they were afraid of death. As expected. Although Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil wanted to obtain the Starry Sky legendary godhead, they didn't want to die. Longao had just said that stepping into the valley was a 9 out of 10 chance of survival. "We'll help you guard this place. If anything happens, just summon us and we'll be there immediately." Be there immediately? When Longao and Jen Wudi heard this, they sneered in their hearts. They had seen shameless people before, but they had never seen such shameless people. The two of them would definitely not come in. They couldn't wait to see the two of them die. "All right, the two of you will stay here." Jen Wudi looked at the two of them in disdain and followed Longao into the valley. Soon, they disappeared without a trace. Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil looked at each other. They could see the anger and reluctance in each other's eyes. However, so what if they were reluctant? Who asked them to be afraid of death? Longao and Jen Wudi had already invited them. They couldn't blame them. However, Demon Fox and the Black Mountain Old Devil didn't think so. In their opinion, Longao and Jen Wudi were obviously trying to take everything for themselves. "It's best if the two of them die in there. What should we do if they die?" The Black Mountain Old Devil was worried. No matter what, this place was filled with danger. With just the two of them, they might not even be able to leave this place alive, let alone get the treasures. However, Demon Fox snorted and sneered, "Even if we follow them, do you think they'll let us go? I'm almost certain that Longao is thinking of all sorts of ways to deal with us. It's just that he's not confident. Forget it. If there's a chance, don't worry. He won't let us go." How could the Black Mountain Old Devil not know about this? However, in his opinion, at least he had Jen Wudi by his side. He would be safer. If the two of them were to barge in, they might not be able to leave this place. "You're not willing to leave? Brother Demon Fox, I know what you mean. However, I still want to wait. If they can come out alive, we'll leave together. If they can't, we'll leave together. How about that?" The Black Mountain Old Devil's attitude was firm. He was afraid of death. If he wasn't, he would have followed the two of them into the valley instead of staying here. How long do we have to wait? This was the key. They could wait for a day, a month, or even a year. What if they had to wait for 10,000 years? The Black Mountain Old Devil thought for a while and said, 3 days. To the two of them, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Demon Fox didn't say anything else. He nodded his head in agreement. In the huge valley, the valley was shrouded in black mist. However, with the strength of the two of them, it wouldn't affect them at all. "Brother Long, where should we go now?" Jen Wudi had no idea about the situation in the valley. He had a solemn look on his face. However, Longao chuckled and said, "Brother Jen, there's no danger in the valley. I was just scaring the two of them. Why should I give them the star legendary divine beast? They don't have the right. So that was the case. Gen Wudi heaved a sigh of relief. He wasn't displeased at all. He didn't like the two of them at all. They were a disgrace to the number one empire. Moreover, Gen Wudi was very selfish. If it was possible, he would definitely want to obtain the star godhead of the legendary divine beast and the so-called unparalleled divine sword. Brother Gen, you have to be careful of Demon Fox. What's wrong? I don't know why, but I feel that there's something wrong with him. It's better to be safe than sorry. If there's a chance, I can show you. Longao had always trusted his intuition. He could feel that Demon Fox wasn't simple. However, he didn't know what the problem was. Gen Wudi knew that Longao wouldn't spout nonsense. He nodded and said, I'll be careful. Brother Long, I have something that I need your help with. Chapter 2233. Go ahead, Brother Gen. He seemed to have guessed something. In fact, Longao was still very uncomfortable in his heart. Although he and Gen Wudi were old friends at first sight, after all, they were not close friends. Some things should be said, and some things should not be said. It was hard to speak. But after thinking about it, Gen Wudi said, Brother Long, I hope you can let me have the peerless divine sword first. What do you think? No problem. Without even thinking about it, Longao directly agreed. Gen Wudi was a little dumbfounded. He never thought that Longao would agree so readily. A peerless divine sword left behind by a starry sky immortal. Gen Wudi was very emotional. Thank you. Brother Gen, if there is a chance, I can give up the starry sky legendary godhead. But I hope you can help the soaring dragon empire in the future. Gen Wudi stared at Longao in front of him. Gen Wudi could understand why Longao did not want the peerless divine sword. But Longao did not want the starry sky legendary godhead. It was a little ridiculous. Gen Wudi knew better than anyone what a starry sky legendary godhead meant. If one could devour a starry sky legendary godhead, there was a 95% chance of becoming a starry sky legendary godhead. Ever since the 12 starry sky sovereigns had fallen, starry sky legendary godheads had become the strongest in the vast universe. After all, starry sky immortals were pitifully rare. Gen Wudi could not understand why Longao would give up the starry sky legendary godhead. Was he retreating in order to advance? As if he could read Gen Wudi's mind, Longao smiled and said, Brother Gen, to be honest, I have not devoured a starry sky legendary godhead in all these years. I want to rely on my own efforts to become a starry sky legendary godhead. Such people were rare. Gen Wudi knew that if it were an ordinary starry sky godhead, even a starry sky realm emperor godhead, he would give it up because the benefits of his own cultivation far surpassed the benefits of devouring a starry sky godhead. But the situation was completely different. A starry sky legendary godhead was too tempting. Although Gen Wudi was confident in his talent, he knew how difficult it was to cultivate. It was almost impossible for a titled universe master to break through to the starry sky legendary realm through normal cultivation, even if one was exceptionally talented. But now, there was an opportunity in front of him. If he was lucky enough, he could devour the star realm godhead and become a star realm legend. Give up. How many people in the entire vast starry sky would choose to give up? Regardless of whether it was true or not, he would definitely not choose to give up. The legend of the starry sky was his ultimate goal. Thank you. Gen Wudi didn't say anything because he couldn't resist such temptation. If it were someone else, Gen Wudi would not even bat an eyelid, such as the two starry sky world venerables. Except for Longao. For some reason, Gen Wudi had a feeling that the man in front of him was not simple. Even he did not have full confidence in dealing with him. That's right, it was exactly this feeling. Thinking about it, it was indeed somewhat laughable. No matter what was said, he was still a titled world sovereign while Longao was only a titled world king. The difference between the two was too great, they weren't even on the same level. Brother Gen, let's go. The two continued to move forward. Just as Longao had sensed, the entire valley was calm and there was no danger at all. If the two of them knew about this, who knew what they would think? Longao seized on the weakness of the two of them who were afraid of death. If the two of them insisted on following them in, Longao might still respect the two of them a little, but now, he despised them even more. This was the so-called Starry Sky World Venerables. This was the so-called emissary of the First Empire. The two of them continued forward, and before long, they arrived in front of a stone wall. There was no way out. Brother Long, can you sense the location of this Star Realm legendary divine beast? Jen Wudi was a little impatient. No matter what, he was a little excited at the thought of devouring a Star Realm legendary godhead. Inside the stone wall. Inside the stone wall? That was a shock. Jen Wudi had never thought that the Star Realm legendary divine beast he wanted to get would be right in front of him. If Longao hadn't sensed it, how could he have found it? Jen Wudi threw out a palm strike. In his opinion, with his strength, he could definitely break the seal and get what he wanted. In any case, this Star Realm legendary divine beast was seriously injured. It was unknown whether its strength could reach 1/10 of its peak. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Brother Jen, don't be impatient. The seal on this stone wall is the seal of this Starry Sky Immortal Expert. I can sense how powerful this Star Realm legendary divine beast is. Even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert might not be able to destroy it completely. He was completely stunned. A Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't destroy a Star Realm legendary divine beast. Was this true? Jen Wudi knew that Longao didn't have to lie to him. If that was the case, it was hard to imagine how powerful this Star Realm legendary divine beast was. It was unbelievable. Longao, are you sure you can break the seal? Others might not be able to do it, not even himself. But for some reason, Jen Wudi felt that Longao was very mysterious. Maybe Longao could break the seal. If he couldn't, then why did Longao come here? Brother Jen, you must be prepared. Even if I can break the seal, I might not be able to kill this Star Realm legendary divine beast, let alone refine it into a Starry Sky godhead. It's almost impossible. Jen Wudi wasn't a fool. Of course, he understood the meaning of Longao's words. Even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't kill a Star Realm legendary divine beast. Even if it was seriously injured, he couldn't kill it, let alone refine it into a Star Realm legendary divine beast. It was almost impossible. He didn't have the courage to do so. No matter what, he had already come this far. He was unwilling to give up so easily. Brother Long, if that's the case, let's leave. Even if he was unwilling to give up, what could he do? It was impossible for him to succeed if even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't destroy the Star Realm legendary divine beast. Longao waved his hand and said, let's break the seal first. I'm very curious about the origin of this Star Realm legendary divine beast. Even a Starry Sky Immortal Expert couldn't destroy it. Jen Wudi was very curious. He didn't know why Longao wanted to stay. Chapter 2234. Longao used Starry Sky Mastery. Starry Sky cracks appeared around the stone wall and began to suppress them. The seal that Jen Wudi was unable to break became extremely easy in Longao's hands. There was a loud noise in the air. Then, the seal on the stone wall was forcibly broken. Their faces changed instantly as they looked at the scene in front of them in shock. The stone wall was an independent small space. It was neither too big nor too small. There was a huge creature lying in the space of the stone wall. It was as big as a hill and it was motionless as if it was asleep. Kirin. The creature in the space of the stone wall was obviously a Starry Sky creature. It was black and its aura was very weak. The legendary Starry Sky beast, Kirin. Jen Wudi looked greedily at the Kirin in front of him. He knew that if he could destroy the Kirin and refine it into a Starry Sky godhead, he would have a chance to become a Starry Sky legend. Again, the temptation was too great. Brother Long, this Kirin seems to be seriously injured. Why don't you and I try? If it doesn't work, We can leave immediately. Jen Wudi was unwilling to give up. Longao understood Jen Wudi's feelings. A Starry Sky Legend divine beast was in front of them and it was obviously seriously injured. If they chose to give up, it meant that there was a problem. Longao shook his head. Brother Long, don't we have a chance? Jen Wudi was extremely depressed. Seeing the Star Sky legendary godhead right in front of him, he couldn't refine it, and that was something he couldn't accept. He couldn't accept it. What should he do? Jen Wudi even thought that if Longao was unwilling to help, he could give it a try. Jen Wudi was very confident. If the Kirin was at its peak, he might not be its opponent. However, the Kirin was obviously seriously injured now. If he could not escape, he could kill himself. How could Longao not know what Jen Wudi was thinking? Helplessly shrugging his shoulders, he said, Brother Jen, although I've already broken the seal on the stone wall, there's still an invisible barrier inside. Once we touch it, we'll be attacked from all directions. As for whether we'll be able to leave this place alive, it's really unknown. He was shocked. Jen Wudi realized that Longao did not seem to be joking. Was that really the case? Although the temptation of the legendary Starry Sky mythological beast was great, it was not worth mentioning compared to his own life. Brother Long, is there no chance at all? He was still unwilling to give up. He was still unwilling to give up, even if there was only a slight chance. Jen Wudi's instincts told him that Longao must have a solution. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so calm. Furthermore, Longao would have left long ago. Why would he stay here? Yes. As expected. He was overjoyed and asked impatiently, what is it? Brother Jen, I can tell you this. Even if we can kill this Star Sky legendary divine beast, we can't refine it into a Star Sky legendary beast pill. Why is that? The reason is very simple. This Starry Sky legendary divine beast doesn't have a primordial spirit. No primordial spirit. Jen Wudi was completely stunned because he had never heard of a divine beast or a Starry Sky cultivator without a primordial spirit. If that was the case, wouldn't it mean that the Starry Sky Chileen had already fallen? The origin of this Starry Sky Chileen is definitely not simple. Although I don't know how it did it, it really exists. After thinking for a while, Longao continued, the primordial spirit of this Starry Sky Chileen has completely integrated into its body, so it has condensed a strong defensive power similar to the immortal body. Even a Starry Sky immortal can't destroy it. Only the 12 Starry Sky dominators can. Jen Wudi was depressed. He already understood what Longao meant. The Starry Sky Chileen's defensive power was too abnormal. Even a Starry Sky immortal couldn't completely break it, let alone the two of them. In that case, Brother Long, let's leave first. Since they knew that they couldn't break the physical defense of the Starry Sky Chileen, there was no point in staying. No matter how unwilling they were, they had to give up temporarily since things had already come to this point. However, Longao didn't move and didn't intend to leave. What did this mean? Jen Wudi was completely confused. He didn't know what Longao meant. Since they couldn't break the defense, what was the point of staying? Could it be that Longao was the same as him and didn't want to give up? Logically speaking, that shouldn't be the case. Jen Wudi and Longao felt like old friends at first sight. Since Longao had already said that there wouldn't be any more Starry Sky legendary divine sparks and even the exceptional divine sword, Jen Wudi believed that he wouldn't touch them. In that case, why should Longao continue to stay? Just as Jen Wudi was feeling curious and didn't know what Longao wanted to do, Longao said, Brother Jen, although we can't break the physical defense of the Starry Sky Chileen, we can subdue it. If the Starry Sky Chileen helps the soaring dragon empire, it will be like adding wings to a tiger. Longao had already thought of a plan. With such an opportunity in front of him, how could he give it up so easily? No matter what, the Starry Sky Chileen in front of him was a genuine Starry Sky legendary divine beast. Unless an immortal Starry Sky descends, no one would be able to shake the soaring dragon empire. Jen Wudi was shocked. He never thought that Longao would want to subdue the Starry Sky Chileen. A Starry Sky divine beast of this level was very arrogant. It would rather commit suicide than submit. However, Gen Wudi was very clear about Longao's mysteriousness. Since Longao was confident in subduing the starry sky Chelin, it should be a sure thing. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't envious. However, Gen Wudi didn't say much. He smiled and said, "Brother Long, you are right. The Soaring Dragon Empire is still very weak. Not to mention other things, just the heaven-devouring empire alone wouldn't be able to shake the Soaring Dragon Empire. Therefore, with this starry sky legendary divine beast in the Soaring Dragon Empire," before Gen Wudi could continue, the starry sky Chelin, who had been motionless, suddenly raised its head and looked at the two of them lazily. It said indifferently, "Get lost. Come with me. I can heal your injuries, but you have to protect my empire. Get lost." Longao wasn't surprised by the starry sky Chelin's reaction. It would be strange if the starry sky Chelin chose to submit obediently. Longao smiled and didn't take it to heart. He said, "I will give you one last chance. If you choose to submit and come with me, I will help you recover your strength. If you choose to reject, I will kill you directly." Gen Wudi knew clearly that Longao was just bluffing the starry sky Chelin. Chapter 2235. With just you. The starry sky Chelin didn't even change its expression. Contempt. It was a blatant disdain. Not to mention the starry sky Chelin, even Gen Wudi didn't believe Longao's words. As the saying goes, a starving camel is still bigger than a horse. The starry sky Chelin's strength wasn't something that Longao could easily shake. He didn't say anything else. Longao clenched his fist and a shocking scene happened. The space in front of the starry sky Chelin was instantly shattered and cracks started to appear. Not only that, the cracks were forcefully compressed. Ah! The starry sky Chelin, who didn't put Longao in its eyes, was finally moved. The starry sky Chelin knew what it meant to shatter the starry sky and compress the cracks. However, the starry sky Chelin couldn't figure out how a mere titled world king did it. Shattering the starry sky and compressing the cracks was something that even a starry sky immortal couldn't do, let alone a titled world king. As for whether the 12 rulers of the starry sky could do it, it was unknown. It couldn't figure it out. It really couldn't figure it out. How did you do it? Starry sky Chelin, if you choose to submit to me, I can teach you this move. How about it? Gen Wudi was a little moved. If he could learn this move, he wouldn't hesitate to leave the First Empire and enter the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, Gen Wudi didn't say anything unless Longao personally invited him. "What's your name?" "Longao." "Longao, although I don't know how you did it, I can tell you clearly that I won't submit to you no matter what. I'm the greatest starry sky Chelin race. How can I submit to a human?" Gen Wudi seemed to want to say something, but he forcefully swallowed it. Even if he wanted to interrupt, it would be difficult for him to do so. "Starry sky Chelin, I'll take a step back. You guarding the Soaring Dragon Empire isn't submitting to me. We're just cooperating. I'll do my best to help you recover from your injuries and reach the starry sky immortal realm. You just have to protect the Soaring Dragon Empire. How about it?" This was the last fortress. There couldn't be the slightest compromise. The starry sky Chelin fell into deep thought. There's a chance. Longao knew that the conditions he offered were definitely attractive enough. Without mentioning anything else, just a starry sky undying wasn't something ordinary people could deal with. How can I trust you? This was the most crucial question. After all, Longao was just joking. Under normal circumstances, it was very difficult to break through from the starry sky legend realm to the starry sky immortal realm. It was unknown how many starry sky legend realm cultivators had failed. The starry sky Chelin definitely wouldn't believe it. "I don't have full confidence in shattering the starry skies, but it's not hard to forcibly raise your cultivation base to the starry sky immortal realm. I can make a blood oath." As if afraid that the starry sky Chelin would not believe him, Longao immediately swore a blood oath. "No problem, But you have to do me a favor. Also, we have 3 rules. I'm only going to enter the Soaring Dragon Empire. I'm not choosing to submit. Just like what you said just now, we're only in a cooperative relationship. Also, when the time comes, I'll choose to leave. You can't stop me. He was overjoyed. Getting the help of a legendary Star Sky mythological beast without fighting was what Longao wanted to see the most. No problem. What do you want me to help you with? Jiyu Tian heavily injured me back then and sealed me here. I want to take revenge. You can call me Yi Ji. Big brother Yi, I have something to ask. The Jiyu Tian you mentioned just now, is he still alive? This was the most crucial question because Longao knew what a starry sky immortal realm meant. If Jiyu Tian was still alive, even if the 3 of them joined forces, they might not be a match for a starry sky immortal realm expert. Unless the 12 starry sky rulers came in person. Although I was severely injured by him back then, Jiyu Tian had completely fallen. He only left a trace of his remnant soul, which was sealed here by himself. I want to destroy Jiyu Tian's remnant soul. So that was it. Okay, let's go now. Do you have a place where I can heal temporarily? Sure. Longao had already thought of a place for Yi Ji. Without a doubt, it would be the Primal Chaos Palace. Although the Primal Chaos Palace could not accommodate too many people, it was more than enough to accommodate the Starry Sky Chileen alone. With a swoosh, Yi Ji's figure disappeared without a trace. Jian Wudi was very curious. He did not know how Longao did it, but since Longao did not say, he did not ask. Brother Long, congratulations. Jian Wudi was very helpless. He originally said that he could obtain the Starry Sky Legend Godhead and become a Starry Sky Legend. In the end, he did not expect that the Starry Sky Chileen would choose to cooperate with Longao. However, Jian Wudi did not have any resentment. If it was fated, it would be his. If it was not, it would not be his no matter how hard he tried. Brother Jian, I would like to invite you to join the Soaring Dragon Empire. What do you think? Longao did not have full confidence that Jian Wudi would join the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, Longao sincerely hoped that Jian Wudi would join the Soaring Dragon Empire. It was not to find an expert to oversee the empire, but to befriend Jian Wudi. Although the 2 of them had not known each other for long, they both felt that the other party was worth befriending. Jian Wudi thought for a while and sighed deeply. He said helplessly, Brother Long, I know what you mean. However, my master is in the First Empire. If I leave the First Empire and choose to join the Soaring Dragon Empire, I will not be able to answer to my master. Jian Wudi was a titled world monarch. It was hard to imagine how strong Jian Wudi's master would be. However, Longao knew that Jian Wudi's master was at least a Starry Sky Realm monarch or a titled realm monarch. Then I will not force you. Longao knew Jian Wudi's difficulties. If he insisted on inviting Jian Wudi, they would not be friends anymore. However, Jian Wudi said, Brother Dragon, if you don't mind, I can become a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire. That way, even if Master finds out, I'm afraid he won't blame me. A guest elder was considered half a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao knew that Jian Wudi had already tried his best. After all, he was from the First Empire. It was already good enough for him to become a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Moreover, with Jian Wudi's strength, he would be superior no matter where he went. Thank you. With a titled Universe Master in the Soaring Dragon Empire and a Starry Sky Realm legendary divine beast, the Soaring Dragon Empire could jump a few levels. At the very least, the Heaven-Devouring Empire was no longer a match for the Soaring Dragon Empire. Chapter 2236. Outside the valley. Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil had been waiting. From their point of view, the chances of Longao and Jian Wudi coming out alive after entering the valley were very low. It was almost a foregone conclusion. 6 hours later. When the 2 of them saw Longao and Jian Wudi walking out of the valley, they were completely dumbfounded. The 2 of them were completely fine. What was going on? Was there no danger in the valley? In an instant, Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil knew that they had been tricked. There was no danger in the valley at all. It was all Longao's act. He had to suffer in silence, unable to voice out his bitterness. The two of them knew clearly that they were afraid of death. It wasn't that Jen Wudi didn't want them. Brother Jen, did you get the Star Legend Godhead? Jen Wudi shook his head. They didn't know why, but when they saw Jen Wudi shaking his head, they felt a little amused. If the two of them got the Star Legend Godhead, they would become Star Legend Godheads. At that time, would they still be able to survive? Brother Jen, what happened in the valley? Even though they knew that the two of them didn't get the Star Legend Godhead, they were still curious. They wanted to know what happened to Longao and Jen Wudi in the valley. Lin Fan laughed. Before the two of them could say anything, Longao said, "Whatever happened in the valley has nothing to do with you. If you want to know, you can go in yourself. Unless you're afraid of death." Longao waved his hand to stop the two of them. He said with contempt, "If you're not convinced, you can go in and try. There's no need to waste time with me." Anger. Looking at Longao, Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil were enraged to the extreme. However, the two of them were speechless. Longao wasn't wrong. The two of them were indeed afraid and didn't dare to step into the valley. What happened in the end? Jen Wudi didn't seem to want to fall out with them. He said indifferently, "We didn't encounter anything in the valley. You two don't have to ask anymore. Let's go." Since Jen Wudi had said so, Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil couldn't say anything more. The two of them resented Longao even more. However, he did not dare to voice his anger. According to the direction Yi Ji pointed out, Longao led the three people all the way to the east. The two of them were very curious because they realized that ever since Longao and Jen Wudi came out of the valley, it was as if they had returned home. Could there be something fishy about this? The two of them were almost certain that Longao and Jen Wudi had obtained something in the valley. It was just that the two of them had not told them. "Brother Jen, where are we going now? Just follow me. Don't ask anything else." Ever since they left the valley, Jen Wudi's attitude had taken a 180-degree turn. It was as if he had become a completely different person. Could it be that the two of them had reached some sort of agreement? The Fox Demon and the Black Mountain Old Devil looked at each other and communicated with their spiritual senses. "Brother Linghu, what do you think those two are up to?" "I don't know. However, I'm sure that the two of them obtained something in the valley and reached a consensus. Therefore, we have to be careful." The Black Mountain Old Devil's expression was very ugly. He kept feeling that there was something wrong with Linghu Yarrow. However, he couldn't tell what was wrong at the moment. Without Yi Ji's guidance, Longao and the other three wouldn't be able to reach their destination. After all, the entire space was filled with danger. One wrong step and they would be doomed eternally. In an inconspicuous place. Weeds grew everywhere. Longao looked at the place in front of him and found it hard to believe. He had never expected that Jiyu Tian's remnant soul would be sealed here. If the four of them were to join forces, they wouldn't be able to break the seal. However, the situation was completely different now. With Yi Ji's help, Longao knew that he had a high chance of breaking the seal. "Brother Jen, why are we in this godforsaken place?" Jen Wudi looked at Longao. His meaning was clear. In this situation, he could no longer make the decision. It was up to Longao to decide if he wanted to tell the truth. Jen Wudi nodded. However, before Jen Wudi could say anything, Longao said, "This is the place where the Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul is sealed. If you want to devour the Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul, find it yourself." Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul? Hearing this, the two of them were extremely surprised. Although they came here for the Peerless Divine Sword, they didn't expect that there would be a Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul here. If they could devour the Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul, it would be beneficial to their cultivation. "Longao, where's the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead?" The Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul was nothing compared to the Godhead. "Why should I tell you? As for whether there was a starry sky immortal godhead, even Longao didn't know. Yi Ji didn't say much before, so he didn't ask. Longao, as long as you help me destroy Jiyu Tian's starry sky immortal remnant soul, I'll help you get Jiyu Tian's starry sky immortal remnant soul. He was overjoyed. This was what Longao wanted. Even he couldn't resist the starry sky immortal legendary godhead. Even if he didn't devour it, he could give it to someone else. He had already thought it through. If he could get the starry sky immortal remnant godhead, he could give it to his brother, Long Ying. If his brother could break through to the starry sky immortal realm, it would be the best thing for the empire. Hearing Longao's words, the two of them were infuriated. However, since things had already developed to this stage, they couldn't say anything. If Longao chose to fall out with them at this time, it would be disadvantageous for them. Brother Long, what should we do? Why don't we split into two groups? You and I will pair up, and the other two will pair up. What do you think? No. Linghu Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil weren't fools. Of course, they knew what Longao meant. If they split into two groups, he would definitely want the Starry Sky Immortal Remnant Soul and even the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead. Once they split up, who knew what tricks Longao would play? Longao, let's forget about the grudges between us first. We'll talk about it in the future. It's a little too much for you to split up like this. The two of them were obviously afraid. After all, they knew nothing about this place. Although it was dangerous to follow Longao, at least they were safe. In any case, with Jen Wudi by his side, Longao wouldn't do anything rash. Do you think I'll leave trouble for myself? Hearing this, the two people's faces became more and more gloomy and ugly. The meaning of Longao's words was very clear. He wanted to cut the weeds and get rid of the roots. However, no matter who it was, they believed that they would do the same. No one was willing to leave trouble for themselves. Chapter 2237. If Longao chose to turn hostile at this time, what should the two of them do? Would Jen Wudi choose to help them? If it had been before, they were sure that Jen Wudi would have chosen them without hesitation. But now, they had no confidence at all. The two people had a feeling that the relationship between Jen Wudi and Longao seemed to have taken a step closer. They felt helpless. If they had known this would happen, they would not have approached Jen Wudi. The two of them were caught between a rock and a hard place, not knowing how to deal with it. Longao, don't be so heartless. Longao smiled. Brother Jen, what do you think? One more person means one more person will fight for it. You and I can discuss this. As for the two of them, I can guarantee that they will play tricks. Huh. They looked at Jen Wudi in front of them. They had never thought that Jen Wudi would say such a thing. He was completely undermining them. Was Jen Wudi going to attack them? Before they could speak, Jen Wudi added, but Brother Long, it will be difficult to deal with them with just the two of us. As the saying goes, one more person means one more strength. As long as they don't attack us, we can still take them with us. They heaved a long sigh of relief. Longao nodded with a smile and said, I'll listen to you. Jen Wudi and Longao simply ignored the two of them. It was a complete humiliation to the two of them. As a universe master of Starry Sky, they were superior wherever they went. They had never been humiliated like this before. But under such circumstances, they could only endure. What should we do now? You two stand aside. Humiliation. Still humiliation. It was always humiliation. Longao wanted to see how long the two of them could endure. If the two of them took the initiative to attack, Jen Wudi alone would have an excuse to kill the two of them. Even if the First Empire found out about this in the future, he believed that the First Empire would not blame Jen Wudi. However, the two of them were indeed very good at enduring. No matter how Longao humiliated them, the two of them turned a blind eye as if nothing had happened. Brother Yi, what should I do now? Longao did not even know where the seal was, let alone breaking it. He still had to rely on the Starry Sky Chileen. I've already locked onto it for you. I'll break the seal later. Remember, You have to hit it with one strike. Once you're trapped, you'll be in big trouble. I understand. In the next second, Longao had already sensed the exact location of the seal. He could only wait. Yiji's power passed through Longao's body and headed straight for the seal. After a series of attacks, the seal was broken. Longao, the first seal has been broken. I will continue to break the second seal. You all must enter the sealed area with all your might. Understood. There were a total of 2 seals, and Longao naturally knew what the breaking of the second seal meant. If the speed of the 4 of them was slow, then they would surely be noticed by Jiyu Tian, and at that time, they would probably go for wool and come home shorn. But at this moment, Longao, you have to be careful. The person beside you is not simple. Ling Fox Demon. Hearing Yiji's words, Longao's heart skipped a beat. This was because he had sensed that there was something wrong with Ling Fox Demon. As for what was wrong, he did not know. Now that Yiji had said the same thing, Longao was certain that his senses were not wrong. There was definitely something fishy about Ling Fox Demon. Yes, I can sense a very terrifying power from this person. At the very least, it's similar to mine. Ah, almost the same. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew what similar meant. However, the Starry Sky Chaline's cultivation was at the Starry Sky Legend realm. If that was the case, then wouldn't Ling Fox Demon's cultivation also be at the Starry Sky Legend realm? Since that was the case, why would Ling Fox Demon hide his strength? After thinking about it, Longao could only think of one explanation. The reason why Ling Fox Demon chose to hide his strength was either because he did not want others to know his identity, or because he was the reincarnation of an expert and could not reveal his identity. Brother Yi, has Ling Fox Demon's strength reached the Starry Sky Legend realm? Or is he just a Starry Sky Universe senior? That was the most important question. If Ling Fox Demon was just a Starry Sky Universe senior, he could simply ignore him. In this space, with the help of the Starry Sky Chaline, it would not be difficult for him to kill Ling Fox Demon. However, if Ling Fox Demon was at the Starry Sky Legend realm, not to mention himself, even with Yiji's strength, they would not be a match for Ling Fox Demon. In any case, Yiji was injured and it would not be easy for him to recover to his peak strength. Before making a decision, he had to figure out this matter first. According to my guess, if I'm not mistaken, this person should be a reincarnation of his primordial spirit and has not recovered to his peak strength. Upon hearing this, Longao heaved a long sigh of relief. As long as Ling Fox Demon had not broken through to the Starry Sky Legend realm, everything would be fine. Again, if Ling Fox Demon was only a Starry Sky Universe senior, he would not have to worry too much. However, don't be careless. Although this person has not recovered to his peak strength, he has reached the level of a Starry Sky Universe ancestor. Even I am not fully confident that I can suppress him. If Yiji was at his peak, he would be able to kill Ling Fox Demon easily. However, the problem now was that Yiji was also severely injured. Hence, it would be difficult for him to deal with Ling Fox Demon. What should he do? Longao, you'd better not let this person enter the sealed land. Otherwise, he will definitely ruin your plan. Longao nodded. How could he not know what Yiji was trying to say? Brother Jian, come with me. I have something to tell you. All right. Jian Wudi was curious. He did not know what Longao wanted to say to him at this time. Could it be about the seal? Humph. Ling Fox Demon snorted coldly. His face was gloomy and cold. The Black Mountain Old Devil could not help but shiver. He found that Ling Fox Demon was behaving more and more strangely. It was as if he had changed into another person. Could it be that he was provoked by Longao? Brother Ling Fox, what should we do now? Unknowingly, Ling Fox Demon had become the leader. Even the Black Mountain Old Devil did not know what was going on. No matter what happens after we enter the sealed land, you must deal with these 2 people. Remember, whether we can soar to the sky in the future depends on this. Even Ling Fox Demon could not resist the Starry Sky Immortal Godhead. Even if he had recovered to his peak, It would not be easy for him to break through to the starry sky immortal godhead. It was almost impossible. Chapter 22:38. The Black Mountain Old Demon's face darkened. After thinking for a while, he said, "Brother Linghu, forgive me for being blunt. Even if we can ignore Longao, we're no match for Gen Wudi." How could Linghu Yarrow not know what the Black Mountain Old Demon meant? "I have my ways." In the distance, Gen Wudi asked curiously, "Brother Long, why are you looking for me?" Regarding the things that Yi Ji told him, Longao did not hide much either and pretty much recounted it. Gen Wudi's face turned gloomier and gloomier as he listened. So, Linghu Yarrow is the reincarnation of a legend of Starry Sky. We're in big trouble. Gen Wudi knew what Starry Sky Universe Ancestor meant. Even if he and Longao joined forces, they wouldn't be a match for Starry Sky Universe Ancestor. Gen Wudi didn't expect Linghu Yarrow to be a legend of Starry Sky. Moreover, he had recovered to the level of Starry Sky Universe Ancestor. It was unbelievable. "Brother Long, what do you mean? We can't let Linghu Yarrow enter the sealed area. Otherwise, if something happens to us, Linghu Yarrow might ambush us from behind. If that happens, we'll be in a very passive position." "All right." This time, Gen Wudi did not even think about it and directly agreed. He knew how serious the matter was. Linghu Yarrow had a bad feeling when he saw the two of them return. This was because Longao and Gen Wudi's eyes had changed. "Brother Gen, is there a problem?" "Yes. After discussing with Brother Long, we've decided to enter the sealed land first. The two of you will stay here and guard the place." Without giving them a chance to speak, Gen Wudi continued, "Don't think too much. I just don't want you to take the risk. After we're done with the seal, we'll inform you to enter." Under normal circumstances, since Gen Wudi had said so, they could only accept it no matter how unwilling they were. However, what happened in the end? Linghu Yarrow shook his head and said with a smile, "Brother Gen, you're being too polite. This time, Black Mountain Old Demon and I will definitely enter. Whether it's a mountain of blades or a sea of fire, we're ready to go." Black Mountain Old Demon was curious. He didn't know what was wrong with Linghu Yarrow. Wasn't he afraid of death by resisting Gen Wudi? Gen Wudi was known for his fiery temper, not to mention in this situation. What if Gen Wudi attacked the two of them? His face was very gloomy. Even so, the Black Mountain Old Demon did not say anything. This was because he did not know what was going on with the Fox Demon. Gen Wudi's face turned cold. "Linghu Yarrow, what if I insist on not letting you in?" The Black Mountain Old Demon could clearly sense the powerful killing intent emanating from Gen Wudi. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't worried. After all, Gen Wudi's strength was there for all to see. Even if it was 1 against 2, the two of them were absolutely no match for Gen Wudi. Once Gen Wudi made his move, the two of them would definitely die. "Brother Linghu, why don't we do it?" He waved his hand. Without giving the Black Mountain Old Demon any chance to speak, Linghu Yarrow sneered. All of a sudden, the aura on Linghu Yarrow's body skyrocketed. In just a few seconds, Linghu Yarrow broke through from Starry Sky World Venerate to Starry Sky World Ancestor. Moreover, he was a titled World Ancestor. Ah! The Black Mountain Old Demon was completely stunned. As a Starry Sky World Venerate, he naturally knew what had happened to Linghu Yarrow. Linghu Yarrow had concealed his strength. However, the Black Mountain Old Demon could not figure out how Linghu Yarrow had managed to hide it from him. Now that he thought about it, he felt terrified. If he had offended Linghu Yarrow and Linghu Yarrow attacked him, he would definitely die. He was indeed a titled World Ancestor. Longao and Gen Wudi were not surprised at all. This made the Black Mountain Old Demon even more curious. He did not know why the two of them were so calm. Could it be that the two of them had already guessed that Linghu Yarrow was a titled World Ancestor? It was a little ridiculous. However, the truth was right in front of him. He had no choice but to believe it. Since the two of you have already guessed it, there is no need for me to continue hiding it. Jian Wudi, do you think you can contend against me with your strength? The difference between a titled world venerate and a titled world ancestor was too big. They were not on the same level at all. Jian Wudi did not say anything. At this moment, he did not know what he should and could not say. The winner was the king and the loser was the bandit. Linghu Yarrow had already recovered to the level of a starry sky world ancestor. He was not someone Jian Wudi could contend against. Even if he joined forces with Longao, it would be impossible. It seemed like the two of them were going to die here. Longao smiled. He did not seem to care. Longao, what are you laughing at? I am laughing at your ignorance. You are courting death. Longao continued to smile. Linghu Yarrow, since I have already guessed your identity, do you know why I have not made a move yet? Linghu Yarrow seemed to have guessed something. His face turned gloomy and he did not reply. I can tell you clearly that it is not difficult for me to kill you. Do you believe me? How was that possible? It was almost impossible for a titled world king to kill a titled world ancestor. Not to mention seeing it, he had never even heard of it. However, Linghu Yarrow's face turned gloomy and cold. The calmer Longao appeared, the more flustered he became. When I was in my plane, I was just a person who had not even reached the level of a starry sky cultivator. The three of them did not speak. They just listened quietly. No matter who it was, they were very interested in Longao's past. According to the information they had, Longao seemed to have come from a mid-grade plane. It was strange that such a background could be so mysterious. As for the reason, I cannot tell you. At that time, our plane did not have a single starry sky cultivator, but tens of thousands of them came. The strongest among them was a starry sky territory ancestor. Shock. The three of them seemed to have guessed something. Disbelief was written all over their faces. I've come this far all by myself, so I don't need to say anything more. Demon Fox, if you want to live, then wait here obediently. If you don't want to live, then we can fight right now. If worse comes to worst, I'll enter the sealed zone later. Longao had gone crazy. If others saw this, they would think that Longao had gone crazy. Because of this, the fox monster was indeed intimidated, because he really didn't dare to be sure whether Longao could kill him or not. What if he could? After all, Longao was too mysterious. Especially when he had the ability to shatter the starry sky and compress the space crack. It was a little terrifying. He was very afraid of Longao. Okay, I will wait for you to come out. In the end, Linghu Yarrow chose to compromise. Chapter 2239. Yi Ji instantly broke the seal, and Longao and Jian Wudi quickly entered the sealed land. The seal disappeared once again. Brother Linghu, Longao is obviously tricking us. Slap. Before the Black Mountain Old Devil could finish his words, he was slapped in the face. The Black Mountain Old Devil held his face in disbelief. He was unwilling to believe that Linghu Yarrow had slapped him. If it was in the past, the Black Mountain Old Devil would have taken action long ago. Moreover, Linghu Yarrow did not dare to take action in the past. But now, Linghu Yarrow was not a starry sky world venerate. He was a genuine titled world ancestor. His strength was far above the Black Mountain Old Devil. So what if the Black Mountain Old Devil was angry? After all, Linghu Yarrow's strength was obvious. Shut up. You are not qualified to speak here. The Black Mountain Old Devil obediently kept his mouth shut. He could sense the killing intent emitted from Linghu Yarrow. As long as Linghu Yarrow wanted to, he could kill him at any time. In the sealed land. The two entered the sealed land and immediately started to run frantically. According to Yi Ji, the two of them had to rush to the sealed land as fast as possible. Otherwise, not only would they not be able to destroy Jiyu Tian's remnant soul, but they would also be killed by Jiyu Tian. In a huge valley, an old man sat in the middle. He looked like an old monk who was meditating. There was no need to guess. This person was Jiyu Tian, the owner of this place. He was a starry sky immortal expert. Yi Ji, you are finally here. Just as the two of them were about to take action, Ji Tian suddenly opened his eyes, giving the two of them a fright. Damn! How is this a remnant soul? This is his true body. Yi Ji's figure appeared. He was a skinny young man who looked sickly. Yi Ji did not expect this either. He asked in shock, "You didn't die?" Ji Tian smiled and said, "Yi Ji, do you really think you can kill a starry sky immortal expert? If your cultivation is able to break through to the starry sky immortal realm, you might be able to do it. However, you will never be able to break through to the starry sky immortal realm." "Who said so?" "I said so." "You may not be right." Seeing Longao and Ji Tian talking back and forth, Jian Wudi was so scared that he didn't dare to make a sound. He didn't know what was wrong with Longao. The person in front of them was a starry sky immortal. If they angered him, they wouldn't even know how they died. Ji Tian seemed to be extremely curious, and he asked, "May I know your name?" "Longao." "Ji Tian. Senior Ji, I can help Brother Yi reach the starry sky undying realm. Do you believe me?" "Do you think I'll believe you? What a joke." Ji Tian was almost certain that it was impossible for Yi Ji to break through to the starry sky immortal realm because he knew Yi Ji's situation the best. "Senior Ji, why don't we make a bet? If I win, you will guard my soaring dragon empire for 10,000 years. If I lose, you can do whatever you want to me." Ji Tian started laughing when he heard this. "Why should I make a bet with you? Are you qualified?" Ji Tian was speaking the truth. Longao wasn't qualified at all. No matter what, Ji Tian was still a starry sky immortal realm while he was just a titled world king. They weren't on the same level at all. Yi Ji smiled and said, "Longao, why do you have to lower yourself to his level? Don't think that he's a starry sky immortal realm expert. He's not even comparable to an ordinary person. If he didn't scheme against me back then, who knows who would have one?" He wasn't angry at all. Ji Tian smiled and said, "Yi Ji, don't think that I can't do anything to you just because your primordial spirit has fused with your body. After so many years, I've traveled the entire vast starry sky and found a way to destroy you. Why don't you try?" He kept retreating. Yi Ji knew Ji Tian's character very well. Ji Tian wouldn't act like this unless he had full confidence. Could it be that Ji Tian had really found a way to deal with him? "Are you afraid?" Ji Tian smiled and said, "Yi Ji, I've sealed you for so many years because I wanted you to reflect on your mistakes behind closed doors and change the mistakes you made back then. However, you don't repent. If you insist on doing things your own way, don't blame me for being impolite. They were the ones who let me down back then. I'm just taking revenge. What's wrong with that?" "Wrong? You still don't know that you're in the wrong." When the past was mentioned, Ji Tian, who had been smiling, had an ugly expression on his face. He said, "Back then, you destroyed hundreds of worlds and caused the vast starry sky to be in chaos. Don't tell me that you didn't make a mistake." *CK Longao really wanted to curse. He never thought that the starry sky Chilean by his side would actually do such an earth-shattering thing. He had only destroyed one world, but it was as if he had done something wrong. There were even people who stopped the Subjugation Alliance from dealing with him. It was hard to imagine that the starry sky Chilean had directly destroyed hundreds of worlds and countless worlds. What kind of concept was this? There was truly a saying that there was always someone better than you. Admirable. As for Jian Wudi, he was dumbfounded. It was hard to imagine how Yi Ji had done it. No wonder he was sealed here by Ji Tian. Perhaps only Yi Ji could do such an outrageous thing. Ordinary people really wouldn't be able to do such a thing. However, Yi Ji didn't care at all. He said disdainfully, "You're still talking about me. What about you? Back then, you were much more ruthless than me. You were 10 times more ruthless than me." Jian Wudi and Longao looked at each other and saw a deep sense of helplessness in each other's eyes. These two were really a little too powerful. Some powerful people were too domineering. One of them had destroyed hundreds of starry sky realms, while the other had destroyed thousands of realms. How powerful. Ji Tian sighed deeply when this matter was mentioned. His face was full of self-blame. Back then, I was impulsive. In order to make up for the mistakes I had made, I chose to seal myself for so many years. All right, stop pretending. Yi Ji didn't want to listen at all and directly interrupted Ji Tian. Others might not know about what happened back then, but do you think I don't know? In order to snatch the primal chaos stone tablet, you didn't hesitate to destroy one world after another. If the primal chaos stone tablet hadn't disappeared in the end, who knows what the vast universe would have become? Primal chaos stone tablet? I see. Longao knew very well how tempting the primal chaos stone tablet was. Even Starry Sky Immortals couldn't resist it. As for Starry Sky Immortals, other than the 12 Starry Sky rulers, Starry Sky Immortals were the strongest existence. It didn't seem difficult for them to destroy the vast universe. Thousands of worlds were destroyed. It was obvious what kind of method it was. Was it worth it to snatch the primal chaos stone tablet? Chapter 2240. Who was in the wrong? Different people had different opinions. In Ji Tian's opinion, he didn't do anything wrong. However, in the opinion of others, both Ji Tian and Yi Ji were wrong. It was indeed unreasonable to destroy hundreds or thousands of worlds for one's own benefit. However, in the vast universe, the strong were respected. The law of the jungle existed no matter where one went. It couldn't be changed. Longao didn't judge whether the two were right or wrong, because no one was in the situation back then. No one was qualified to judge. Yi Ji, what do you want? I want to kill you, but I know that with my strength, it's utterly impossible for me to be a match for you. Ji Tian, the enmity between us will be resolved sooner or later. Either you completely annihilate me, or you let me leave. He laid all his cards on the table. Yi Ji was going all out. He didn't want to continue being sealed in this godforsaken place, living a life worse than death. Yi Ji, you have to know that even if I'm willing to let you go, there will definitely be many people who will deal with you for your evil deeds. Do you think I'm afraid? As long as it wasn't a Starry Sky Immortal, Yi Ji could deal with it. This was confidence in his strength. A Starry Sky legend was the strongest existence in the vast universe besides Starry Sky rulers and Starry Sky Immortals. Everyone knew that the 12 Starry Sky rulers had all died back then. The current Starry Sky Immortal was even more elusive. Yi Ji didn't believe that his luck would be so bad that he would encounter a Starry Sky Immortal as soon as he went out. If that was the case, then he could only blame his bad luck and couldn't blame anyone else. But Yi Ji didn't dare confirm if Ji Tian would let him leave or make a move against him. After all, Ji Tian had already found a way to destroy him. If Ji Tian insisted on attacking him, it would be difficult for him to resist. Longao, I really want to know why you were able to move Yi Ji. Is it because you can help him break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm? Ji Tian couldn't figure it out. Not to mention Ji Tian, even Jian Wudi couldn't figure it out. What's the big deal about a promise? What if Longao couldn't do it? After all, it wasn't easy to break through from a Starry Sky legend to a Starry Sky Immortal. If it was so simple, then why was Longao still a titled world king and not a Starry Sky Immortal? If these people knew about Longao's cultivation speed, who knew what they would think? Maybe it's my charm? Ji Tian knew that Longao was joking. However, he admired this person very much. Because in the vast universe, Longao was definitely the first person to be able to do this in front of him. There was a titled world master beside him, but he was very respectful and did not dare to say a word. This was the difference between them. Yi Ji, have you really thought it through? I will settle the grudge between us in the future. However, I will not continue to stay here. I would rather die here. Yi Ji's attitude was already very firm. Longao, come with me. Longao glanced at Yi Ji, and when he saw that Yi Ji didn't speak, he could only stand up and vanish on the spot with Ji Tian. Why is Ji Tian looking for me alone? Longao didn't know, nor could he guess, But his intuition told him that Ji Tian looking for him was definitely related to Yi Ji. In a stone room. Please sit. Longao didn't stand on ceremony and directly sat down. The two of them faced each other. No matter how strong you are, just your courage alone is worthy of my respect. Longao didn't speak. You must be very curious as to why I am looking for you alone. Please speak. Strictly speaking, Yi Ji and I are sinners of the vast universe. Countless people have died in our hands. We have destroyed more than 1,100 realms. Countless planes and realms have been destroyed in our hands. Senior Ji, forgive me for being blunt, but I am really not interested in your matters at all. As for whether what you did was right or wrong, each person has his own opinion. Perhaps you were right at that time, but looking at it now, you might be wrong. Therefore, Senior, you don't have to blame yourself. Ji Tian was very surprised. He didn't seem to have expected that Longao would say such words. You are not bad, you are really not bad. Your talent is very strong. I believe you will be able to reach the Starry Sky Legend realm in at most 100 years. However, you can't reach the final step and break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. I can't. Longao had always been very confident in his own talent and cultivation speed. He had been able to go from an ordinary person to where he was today in just a few decades. Who else in the vast starry sky could do this? No one could do it. Longao didn't speak about his own matters. Instead, he asked curiously, Senior, what do you mean? Longao knew very well that Ji Tian absolutely believed in his talent, but he still made such an assertion. It seemed that there must be some secret behind the Starry Sky Legend realm breakthrough to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. This was also why Ji Tian was so determined to say that Yi Ji would never be able to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm in his lifetime. You are not qualified to know this now. You will naturally understand when your cultivation reaches the peak of the Starry Sky Legend realm. However, I can help you break through at that time. As the price, you have to do me a favor. How about it? Tell me about it first. Longao didn't agree immediately because he didn't know what Ji Tian wanted him to do. What if Ji Tian wanted him to commit suicide? Would he agree? It was definitely an unrealistic question, so he had to ask clearly first. Ji Tian was very clear about Longao's thoughts. He smiled and said, "This favor isn't difficult for you. You just have to help me keep an eye on Yi Ji and don't let him do anything rash." Senior Ji, is there a problem with Yi Ji? Longao couldn't figure out why a perfectly fine person would act recklessly for no reason or reason. Unless Ji Tian was unable to control himself. If it was really like this, then Ji Tian could just continue to seal Yi Ji or kill him. As for Longao, no matter how unwilling he was, he could only watch and not make a move. You already know Yi Ji's identity. This isn't a secret, so it's okay to tell you. Yi Ji's family was destroyed by a Starry Sky Immortal Realm expert. Back then, he was looking for this person to take revenge. Yi Ji eventually destroyed hundreds of domains and was forcefully sealed here by me. After so many years, I only hoped to eliminate the evil in Yi Ji's body, but I couldn't do it. Senior, then why didn't you destroy Yi Ji directly? This was something that Longao couldn't figure out. Why didn't he do so? Once he was dead, everything would be over. No matter how rash Yi Ji was, he wouldn't be able to do it. Could it be that Ji Tian had something that he couldn't say? Ji Tian sighed deeply and said helplessly, "His father and I are the best of brothers. P.S. Rest first. We will continue to explode at midnight." At the same time, everyone can support Little Ju's new book, Myriad World Divine Emperor. Little Ju is very grateful. Chapter 2241. The Best of Brothers. That was enough for him. Longao finally knew why Ji Tian didn't kill Yi Ji and only sealed him. It wasn't because Ji Tian couldn't kill Yi Ji, but because of the brotherhood between him and Yi Ji's father. Longao was curious. Yi Ji should know about this, but in the end, Yi Ji seemed to be Ji Tian's father's murderer. To tell the truth, Senior Ji, I believe you know my strength. Brother Yi is already a Star Sky legend. Even if he wants to do something, I can't stop him. Forgive me for being powerless. If it was something that could be done, Longao would definitely not decline. But this was the only thing he couldn't do. Yi Ji might be seriously injured now, and he might be able to stop him. But what about the future? Once Yi Ji's cultivation recovered to Star Sky legend, the consequences would be obvious. Ji Tian nodded. Ji Tian knew what Longao was worried about. He smiled and said, "There's no need to be secretive between us. Longao, although I don't know your background, I can guess that you're not simple." Longao didn't say anything. "Your talent and potential are the strongest among all the people I've ever seen." Longao still didn't say anything. "You want to take Yi Ji away from here and take charge of your empire?" "That's right. To be honest, my Soaring Dragon Empire has just been established." Longao didn't hide much about his empire and told Ji Tian about it. After listening, Ji Tian said in admiration, "You're really powerful." To be able to do this with Longao's strength, it was enough to show how powerful Longao was. Ji Tian had to admit this. "If I'm willing to take charge of the Soaring Dragon Empire, are you willing?" F***ck I'm willing. Without even thinking about it, Longao directly replied. What a joke. Ji Tian was a genuine Star Sky immortal. If he could take charge of the Soaring Dragon Empire, not to mention the Devouring Heaven Empire, even the number one empire could easily stop them. This was Star Sky immortal. Furthermore, if the news of the Soaring Dragon Empire having a Starry Sky immortal realm expert overseeing the empire were to spread out, then the status of the Soaring Dragon Empire would take a 180-degree turn, and no one would dare to provoke them. This was an opportunity. A Starry Sky immortal and a Starry Sky legend, if they could both oversee the Soaring Dragon Empire, it would be the greatest help to him and the empire. But Longao was very clearly aware that the matter was absolutely not so simple. As a Starry Sky immortal, it was impossible for Ji Tian to easily oversee any empire. Could it be that there were conditions? As expected. Ji Tian said, Longao, I can oversee the Soaring Dragon Empire. However, I have 3 conditions that I hope you can agree to. Senior, please speak. Longao had already decided that as long as it wasn't too excessive, he would agree to whatever conditions the other party proposed. Because the current Soaring Dragon Empire really needed a Starry Sky Immortal and a Starry Sky Legend to hold the fort, because he didn't know what kind of danger the Soaring Dragon Empire would encounter. It was better to be prepared early. First, Yi Ji and I will oversee the Soaring Dragon Empire only to help you protect the Soaring Dragon Empire. Therefore, we will only ensure the safety of the Soaring Dragon Empire and will not help you expand your strength. Ji Tian wasn't a fool. Of course he knew that what a newly established Starry Sky Empire needed the most was development. If the Soaring Dragon Empire wanted to develop with its own strength, it would definitely be very difficult. But with his and Yi Ji's help, the situation would completely change. It could be said that, with their help, the Soaring Dragon Empire's development speed would increase by more than 10,000 times. This was the deterrence of a Starry Sky Legend and a Starry Sky Immortal. No problem. Regarding this matter, Longao didn't even think about it and directly agreed. He also didn't plan to borrow the strength of the two to develop the Empire's strength. As long as the two could oversee the Empire, it would be enough. Longao's intention was very simple. He wanted to borrow the strength of the two to protect the Empire. As for the development, he could leave it to his elder brother. Alright, the second condition is that within 100 years, the two of us won't leave. As for after 100 years, we can leave at any time. Don't stop us. Longao smiled. With the strength of the two, even if he wanted to stop them, it wouldn't be of much use. Although Longao was very confident in his talent and cultivation speed, wanting to reach Starry Sky Legend or even Starry Sky Immortal within 100 years was a bit of a joke. However, in Longao's opinion, 100 years was enough for him. He believed in his elder brother's ability. The last condition, Longao, if someone wants to deal with us, What are you going to do? Senior, you're joking. With your strength and Yiji's strength, I believe that no one in the entire vast starry sky is your opponent. Longao felt very curious. Starry Sky Legend and Starry Sky Immortal were already standing at the peak of the starry sky. Who could be their opponent? However, Jiyu Tian's expression was very solemn. He said, Longao, I'm not joking with you. Yiji's father and I made many enemies. If we leave here, we'll definitely attract these enemies. Moreover, my enemies are all Starry Sky Immortals. You have to be mentally prepared. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Jiyu Tian continued, although your empire can be temporarily safe with Yiji and me overseeing it, I have to tell you clearly that once my enemies discover my tracks, not only me, but even you and your empire will suffer a destructive blow. Jiyu Tian's meaning was very clear. It would depend on Longao's choice. Accept or give up. If it was anyone else, that person would probably choose to give up directly because they might be able to obtain temporary safety with the two of them holding down the fort. However, Jiyu Tian had said earlier that if his tracks were to be discovered by his enemies, then he and the empire would be in great trouble and would probably be directly destroyed. However, Longao didn't even think about it. He nodded and said, Senior Jiyu, since I've made my choice, I won't regret it. I can make a blood oath here. If your enemies come looking for you in the future, I'll live and die with you. Longao really made a blood oath. Jiyu Tian was a little dumbfounded because he knew that Longao wouldn't dare to accept it. After all, the destruction of Starry Sky Immortals wasn't something that could be casually made up. Because of this, Jiyu Tian smiled with a face full of praise. He nodded and said, Good, good. You're really not bad. A dragon among men. You'll definitely dominate the vast starry sky in the future. Chapter 2242. No one knew that Longao and Jiyu Tian had reached an agreement. Even Yi Ji didn't know. Longao, what's going on? Brother Yi, Senior Jiyu has agreed to go to the Soaring Dragon Empire with you. Yi Ji nodded. It wasn't as intense as he had imagined. Longao was curious. He couldn't figure out why Yi Ji would treat Jiyu Tian like this if Jiyu Tian and Yi Ji's father were good brothers. It was as if Yi Ji had killed his father. Simple and mysterious. Longao wouldn't just believe Jiyu Tian's words. However, since Yi Ji didn't say anything, he couldn't ask too much. Jian Wudi didn't say anything from the beginning. Although he didn't know how Longao did it, he was really happy for Longao. Since that's the case, let's leave. This was Jiyu Tian's territory. They could leave as they wished. Longao didn't kill Ling Fox Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil because he wasn't strong enough to do so. As for the agreement between him and Jiyu Tian, no matter if it was Yi Ji or Jiyu Tian, the two of them would not help him kill anyone. Instead, they would only guard the Soaring Dragon Empire and protect the Soaring Dragon Empire. Brother Jian, who is this? Ling Fox Yarrow and the Black Mountain Old Devil looked at the two of them curiously. They didn't know why there were two more people. Could this person be the legendary Starry Sky Immortal? Jian Wudi nodded. His meaning was clear. This is Senior Jiyu Tian, a Starry Sky Immortal. This is Senior Yi Ji, a Starry Sky Legend. Ah! Looking at the two Starry Sky experts, both the Black Mountain Old Devil and Ling Fox Yarrow were stunned. Especially Ling Fox Yarrow. He didn't expect that the Starry Sky Immortal didn't die and that there was another Starry Sky Legend. Even if he recovered to his peak, he wouldn't be Jiyu Tian's match. No matter what, the gap between a Starry Sky Immortal and a Starry Sky Legend was too big. Greetings, seniors. Yi Ji didn't say anything. His expression was cold. As for Jiyu Tian, he smiled and said, the reincarnation of a Starry Sky Legend. It seems like you can recover to your peak in less than 100 years. Yes, senior. Jiyu Tian saw through Ling Fox Yarrow's true identity. Let's go. Jiyu Tian didn't seem to want to stay any longer. A ball of white light enveloped everyone, and in the next second, everyone had already disappeared without a trace. Spiritual sense communication. Longao, Do you have some sort of agreement with Jiyu Tian? Yes. Longao didn't conceal much about the agreement between him and Jiyu Tian, and he roughly explained it to Jiyu Tian. Yi Ji was silent for a while and then said, "He's right. He and my father are sworn friends. Looks like Jiyu Tian didn't lie. He really is a good brother. Big brother Yi, there's something I don't understand. Since he and your father are sworn friends, why did you guys end up like this? And you seem to be very hostile towards him." Yi Ji wanted nothing more than to destroy Jiyu Tian. This kind of hatred seemed a little abnormal. My father is also a space undying. Longao had already guessed this point, so he didn't feel surprised at all. Back then, Jiyu Tian and my father both broke through to the space undying realm and roamed the vast starry sky. When the two of them joined hands, almost no one could defeat them. But there was an accident that caused the two of them to offend extremely terrifying existences, and they were besieged by dozens of space undying existences. At that time, Jiyu Tian didn't care about my father's safety and left by himself, and my father had to fight against so many alone. In the end, he died, and he didn't even have the chance to reincarnate. Tell me, should I take revenge for my father? So that's how it is. Longao finally understood the enmity between the two of them. Should Jiyu Tian be blamed for this? It's still the same saying. Different people have different opinions. Fleeing in the face of life and death, Jiyu Tian really did do something wrong. But Yi Ji looking for Jiyu Tian to take revenge was a little unreasonable. After all, his father wasn't killed by Jiyu Tian. Longao didn't say anything. Because in this kind of situation, he didn't know what he should or could say. Longao, do you think I did something wrong? Originally, Yi Ji didn't want to say anything. But since the other party had already asked him, how could he not say anything? Brother Yi, I'll get straight to the point. Did you see what happened back then with your own eyes? No, someone told me, Yi Zichen said. I see. Since Jiyu Tian and your father were sworn friends, according to my guess, the two of them must have gone through countless life and death situations. Have you ever thought about why he didn't flee in the face of danger but chose to leave by himself that time? Yi Ji became silent. Thinking about it carefully, it was indeed a little strange. However, he had been blinded by hatred back then. He only hoped to kill Jiyu Tian and take revenge for his father. Brother Yi, forgive me for being blunt, but there's definitely something fishy about this matter. You should look for Senior Jiyu and ask him about it. There might be something fishy about it. After leaving the plane, the six of them were very fast. In a short while, they had already entered the soaring dragon domain. Brother Jian, we still have things to do. We won't disturb you any longer. Ling Fox Demon and Black Mountain Old Demon already knew about the two Starry Sky elites overseeing the soaring dragon empire. Although they did not know how Longao did it, other than envy and jealousy, there was nothing else they could do. Ian, take care. Looking at the two disappearing figures, Longao didn't make a move in the end. In the distance, Black Mountain Old Devil sighed deeply and said helplessly, the current soaring dragon empire is no longer the soaring dragon empire of the past. If the empire knows about this, it will be difficult for us to continue dealing with Longao. The two of them knew very well what a space undying expert and a legend represented. Even the number one empire wouldn't casually provoke the soaring dragon empire, let alone an ordinary space empire. The reason was simple. The current soaring dragon empire was no longer the same as before. With a space legend and a space undying expert guarding the empire, it was obvious what it meant. Fox Demon snorted heavily and his face was extremely gloomy. He said coldly, don't leak this out, and don't let the empire know about it. I don't believe that Longao will hide in the empire forever. As long as he leaves the soaring dragon realm, we will find a way to kill him. Since things had already come to this, there was no other way. Even if Black Mountain Old Devil was unwilling, he could only follow Fox Demon and wait for an opportunity to kill Longao because of how powerful Fox Demon was now. Black Mountain Old Devil was now in a difficult situation. He couldn't advance or retreat. If he took a wrong step, he would definitely die. Looking at the soaring dragon realm in the distance, The corners of the fox demon's mouth slowly curled into a sneer. He muttered to himself, Longao, just you wait. I will definitely tear you into pieces. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Chapter 2243. Gen Wudi didn't leave immediately. Instead, he followed Longao back to the Soaring Dragon realm. As a guest elder of the Soaring Dragon Empire, Gen Wudi could be considered half a person of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao didn't publicize Jiyu Tian and Yi Ji's identities. He only told Long Ying. Seventh brother, with 2 starry sky experts overseeing the empire, won't it backfire? Longao was very clear about his big brother's worries. With Yi Ji and Jiyu Tian's strength, if the 2 of them attacked the empire in the future, the empire wouldn't be able to resist at all. Longao smiled. Big brother, the 2 of them won't attack the empire, but we only have 100 years. Since his 7th brother said so, Long Ying was a little less worried. 7th brother, leave the empire to me, but I'm very worried about the family's safety. What's wrong? Long Ying thought for a moment and said, I don't know why, but I've been feeling uneasy lately. I keep feeling that something is going to happen to the family. Anyway, our empire is on the right track. Why don't we move the family here? That way, we won't have to worry so much. Longao hadn't thought about this matter yet. Move. Longao knew very well what moving meant. If they chose to move now, would the God Diviner suspect anything? Even now, Longao wasn't sure what the God Diviner meant. As the strongest expert in the vast universe and the only starry sky ruler, if the God Diviner made a move, it would be difficult to deal with him. Now, he only had Long Qiong by his side. If Long Qiong could refine the primal chaos tablet and become the starry sky ruler, then the God Diviner might be wary of the starry sky ruler and not act recklessly. But now, it was hard to say. 7th brother, is there a problem? Long Ying didn't know the pros and cons, so he didn't know what Longao was worried about. Big brother, I know what you mean, but there's only one thing I have to think about now, and that's the God Diviner. The God Diviner shouldn't be our enemy, right? You can't judge a book by its cover. Not even the 11 rulers of the starry sky had been able to see Master God Diviner's true face, much less Yang Qi. Big brother, I'll go to the Sky Martial realm later. As for whether I can relocate my family, I'll have to see the situation first. All right. Right at this moment, Gen Wudi walked in. Big brother, let me introduce you. This is Gen Wudi. Brother Gen has already agreed to become a guest elder of the empire. He was overjoyed. Regarding Gen Wudi's situation, Long Ying roughly understood already. A titled universe master was a great help to the empire. Hello, Your Majesty. If not for Longao, would Gen Wudi place Long Ying in his sights? As a titled universe master and the messenger of the First Empire, Gen Wudi did not even care about the emperor of the sky-devouring empire, let alone the emperor of the Soaring Dragon Empire. Long Ying immediately stood up to welcome him and said with a smile, Sword Elder is too polite. Of course, Long Ying knew that if not for her 7th brother, a titled universe master would not have been so polite. Brother Long, the matter of the peerless divine sword has fallen through. I'm going to choose a day to leave and return to the First Empire. Gen Wudi was about to leave. Brother Gen, why don't you leave later? I have a way to help you break through. Gen Wudi was now a titled universe master. If he continued to break through, he would be able to become a starry sky realm emperor. Now that Gen Wudi was one of his people, Longao was ready to forcibly increase his strength. Really? Gen Wudi was overjoyed because he knew that Longao would not lie to him without full confidence. Could it be that Longao really had a way to forcibly increase his strength? Brother Gen, you can't be too hasty. All right, in that case, I'll stay. Gen Wudi's decision to stay made Long Ying very happy. A titled universe master, a starry sky legend, and a starry sky immortal. With such powerful strength, no one would dare to get close to them. However, Longao was helpless. No matter how powerful the 3 of them were, they were still outsiders. Even Gen Wudi was half a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire. If the Empire and the First Empire turned against each other in the future, what would Jian Wudi choose? Would he choose to help himself or the First Empire? In the end, he still had to develop his own strength. The only way now was to create a large number of Starry Sky Corps slaves. Longao knew that it was not easy to find an expert to guard the Empire. It was impossible for the Empire to remain stagnant. If that was the case, what was the point of establishing the Empire? That was why Longao immediately started to create a large number of Starry Sky Corps slaves after settling the family matters. At the back of the mountain, Longao specially opened up a place with an elegant environment at the back of the mountain. However, it was separated. One was Yi Ji's residence, and the other was Ji Tian's residence. As for whether the two of them would fight, Longao could only pray that they wouldn't. Longao found the two of them and went straight to the point. Brother Yi, Senior Ji, the two of you have been friends for a long time. If there's a misunderstanding, you can say it. Ji Tian sighed deeply and said helplessly, this is a serious matter. If I could say it, I would have said it back then. All those years ago, if it wasn't for you abandoning my father and leaving by yourself, my father wouldn't have fought against so many and perished in the end. Up until this moment, Yi Ji was still brooding about it, and he wished for nothing more than to kill Ji Tian and take revenge for his father. Ji Tian didn't get angry at all. He said helplessly, if I had the slightest chance back then, I definitely wouldn't have chosen to leave by myself. Your father and I have been friends for life. Do you think I would abandon him? This was something that Longao couldn't figure out. Since the two of them were friends for life, why didn't something like this happen in the past? It just so happened that Ji Tian chose to leave by himself that time. It was extremely strange. There was definitely something fishy about this. It was just that Ji Tian wasn't willing to speak of it, causing Yi Ji to always think that his father had died because of Ji Tian. Senior Ji, there are some things that are better explained clearly. You don't want your brother's son to always look for trouble with you and take you as an enemy. Yi Ji didn't speak, and it could be considered to indicate his agreement with Longao's words. Because Yi Ji gradually noticed that perhaps there really was something fishy about the incident all those years ago. Ji Tian, speak frankly. Otherwise, I'll kill you even if I have to go to the ends of the world to take revenge for my father. Since it's like this, then I'll tell you. But you have to promise me that no matter what happens, you have to remain calm. Chapter 2244. Sure. After obtaining Yi Ji's guarantee, Ji Tian spoke of everything that happened back then in full detail. So, countless years ago, Ji Tian and Yi Ji's father were sworn brothers. After many years of hard work, they finally broke through to the Starry Sky Undying Realm and reached a very high level. The two of them worked together and roamed the starry sky. However, there was one time when the two of them got news about the Primal Chaos Tablet and successfully obtained one of the Primal Chaos Tablets. Unfortunately, they were besieged by dozens of Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. At that time, Yi Ji's father was heavily injured. Ji Tian was furious and destroyed thousands of Starry Sky realms and killed 2 Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. Unfortunately, they were outnumbered and couldn't resist the joint attack of dozens of Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. They lived and died together. They didn't leave. Unfortunately, Yi Ji's mother was already pregnant. If they didn't choose to leave in time, the consequences would be obvious. Yi Ji's father was heavily injured and couldn't leave. Helpless, Ji Tian could only take Yi Ji's mother and leave, leaving Yi Ji's father alone to resist the dozens of Starry Sky Undying Realm experts. It could be considered as giving them time to leave. Yi Ji's mother died after giving birth to him. After hearing this, Longao went silent. Yi Ji went silent as well. Could Ji Tian be blamed for this? Not only could Yi Ji not blame Ji Tian, he even had to thank him. If Ji Tian hadn't risked his life to save him, Yi Ji would have died back then. Would he still be standing here? Ji Tian sighed deeply and said, "Your father is my good brother. We shouldn't have been greedy and tried to seize the Primal Chaos Tablet. In the end, One of us died and the other was injured. Yi Ji wasn't the only one who knew that Ji Tian was injured. Even Longao knew about this. Ji Tian, how do I know if you're telling the truth? You don't have to believe me, and I don't need you to believe me either. I do things with a clear conscience. Your father is my benefactor, and he is also my good brother. Do you really think that I would abandon him and choose to leave alone? Longao's intuition told him that Ji Tian was telling the truth. Actually, Yi Ji believed it too. Uncle Ji, I've wronged you. He sighed deeply again. It's good that you understand. Uncle Ji, I want to ask, who were the people that besieged you? Taking revenge for his father was a matter of course. Ji Tian knew that once he said this, Yi Ji would definitely choose to take revenge. Yi Ji, your parents are already dead. You are the only member of the Starry Sky Chalene clan, so nothing can happen to you. Otherwise, how am I going to answer to your dead parents? Uncle Ji, I just want to know. But don't worry, I won't act recklessly before I break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm. No. Before Yi Ji could speak, Ji Tian continued, not to mention now, even if your cultivation had smoothly broken through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm, it would still be impossible for you to take revenge. If it was possible, then why would I wait until now? Dozens of space undyings, how could they take revenge? Unless the 12 rulers of the Starry Sky came in person, or if they used absolute numbers to suppress them. Big Brother Yi, listen to Senior Ji. Wait until you break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm. Even if you know now, it won't be of any use. It might even interfere with your cultivation. Yi Ji also knew what the two of them meant. In the end, he could only nod and say, Longao, didn't you say that you have a way to increase my strength? Yes, but not now. How long do we have to wait? I don't know. This was the truth. Yi Ji's expression instantly became unsightly, but he endured it. The two of them had buried the hatchet. Longao finally let out a sigh of relief. He naturally didn't want to see the two of them fight, because once they did, it wouldn't be a problem for the Empire. In that case, the Empire should be safe for the next 100 years. After settling the matter of the Empire, Longao didn't linger. He immediately got up and left. The Martial Heaven Continent. As soon as Longao entered, the God Diviner sensed him. In the Outer Sea, in the Crystal Palace. Longao, why did you come back for no reason? Longao went straight to the point. Even if the God Diviner really was his enemy, he wouldn't hesitate. Senior God Diviner, I came back this time mainly to relocate my family. To tell you the truth, I've already established my own empire and have been separated for many years. He did not continue speaking, but the meaning of Longao's words was clear. The God Diviner wasn't as angry as he had imagined. Instead, he smiled. I understand what you mean. There's no problem at all. However, Longao, you have to be careful. Don't think that just because the Soaring Dragon Empire has a Starry Sky Immortal overseeing it, you can rest easy. He wasn't surprised at all. Longao had already heard of the God Diviner's Tao of Divination. After refining the Divination Primal Chaos Tablet, the God Diviner could calculate almost anything. Thus, the matter of the two of them overseeing the Soaring Dragon Empire definitely wouldn't be hidden from him. Senior, please tell me. I trust you already know about Ji Tian. I won't hide it from you. Ji Tian and Yi Ji's enemies aren't ordinary people, but dozens of Starry Sky Immortals from the 9 great cosmic empires. Do you think your Soaring Dragon Empire will be safe if this matter is leaked? Longao's face instantly turned solemn. Of course, he knew what the 9 great Starry Sky Empire meant. In the vast Starry Sky, there were countless planes and empires. Among the countless Starry Sky Empires, the 9 Starry Sky Empires were the most powerful. They were the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th Starry Sky Empires. Dozens of Starry Sky Immortals from the 9 great cosmic empires teamed up to kill Ji Tian and Yi Ji. If this matter was leaked out, Ji Tian would definitely be besieged. Even Longao and the Soaring Dragon Empire would suffer. However, Longao already knew about this matter. Previously, Jiyu Tian had already said that if he insisted on doing so, they would live and die together. If not for this, Jiyu Tian and Yi Ji would not have followed him to the Soaring Dragon Empire. Senior, I have already agreed to live and die with Jiyu Tian. The god diviner wasn't surprised at all. He nodded and said, I understand your character. You have to be careful. Although your talent is not bad and you will definitely become a starry sky immortal in the future, the 9 great cosmic empires aren't as simple as you think. It's best if the 9 great cosmic empires don't find out about this. Remember, if you run into trouble in the future, you can bring your family back. Chapter 2245. Longao hadn't expected the god diviner to say such a thing. Friend or foe? Longao was a bit confused. The god diviner was either sincere to him, or his disguise was too good. The god diviner himself didn't reveal any flaws. It would be extremely difficult for him to see through him. Many thanks. Longao, you can go. Longao didn't linger. He turned and left. Only the god diviner remained in the Crystal Palace. Things are getting more complicated. Longao is too unpredictable. Should I cut the weeds and eliminate the roots? The god diviner couldn't make up his mind. He didn't know what to do. Longao was both the key and the variable. Even if he was the god diviner, he was still gambling. If he won, he would obtain a huge opportunity. If he lost, all his previous efforts would be for naught. He left the Crystal Palace. Longao took a few steps and returned to the Massacre Abyss. In the current Dragon Valley, only 1 in 10,000 people had broken through to the Starry Sky Realm. The laws of the universe made it so that those who hadn't broken through to the Starry Sky Realm couldn't enter. If they tried to force their way in, they would definitely die. The only way was to put everyone in the Primal Chaos Palace and bring them out of the Martial Heaven continent. However, Longao felt helpless. The Primal Chaos Palace could only hold 100 people. If he had to move them again and again, who knew how many times he would have to move them? No matter how he thought about it, he couldn't come up with a good idea. However, Longao did come up with a good idea. Perhaps others wouldn't be able to do it, but the Starry Sky Immortal would definitely be able to. This method was very simple. It was to borrow the Starry Sky Immortal's power to forcibly create a transportation formation between the Martial Heaven continent and the Soaring Dragon Empire. That way, they would be able to move everyone in the shortest time possible. However, if he wanted to create a transportation formation, he had to get the god diviner's permission. Otherwise, how could he casually create one without the god diviner's permission? The god diviner agreed without the slightest hesitation. The god diviner would create the transportation formation for the Martial Heaven continent. As for the Soaring Dragon continent, Jiyu Tian would create the transportation formation for them. The next day, everyone in the entire Massacre Abyss chose to enter the teleportation circle, moving from the Sky Martial continent to the Soaring Dragon continent. In the short span of a day, everyone had been transferred. All of them have been transferred? Yes, thank you, Senior. Without the slightest bit of accident, Longao heaved a sigh of relief. He had been worried that Master Clairvoyant was up to something. However, Longao knew that if Master God Diviner wanted to deal with him, no matter where he went, Master God Diviner would be able to find him. After all, he had personally witnessed the power of the Starry Sky Ruler. Longao, I have already destroyed the teleportation circle. The Soaring Dragon Empire has Jiyu Tian, so there shouldn't be any problems for the time being. However, you still have to remember, unless you have no other choice, don't use ancient strength casually. I understand. Longao was very depressed. Even if he wanted to utilize Jiyu Tian and Yi Ji's strength, the two of them had to be willing to be utilized by him. Before they came to the Empire, Jiyu Tian had already made it very clear that they would only protect the Empire's safety. As for the Empire's development, the two of them wouldn't care too much. Is there anything else? Master God Diviner, I would like to ask you for a favor. Speak. I want a Starry Sky Realm Emperor's Godhead. Longao asked for this Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead on behalf of Gen Wudi because he had promised Gen Wudi that he would help him break through to a higher realm. Under normal circumstances, Gen Wudi would need a long time to break through from a titled world venerable to a Starry Sky Realm Emperor. Moreover, Longao was doing a favor for his friend. If Gen Wudi could devour this Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, he would be able to break through to the Starry Sky Realm Emperor in the shortest time possible. As for the future, it wasn't something he could control. Master God Diviner didn't waste any time and directly threw out 4 Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, titled World Emperor's godhead, Starry Sky Ancestor's godhead, and titled World Ancestor's godhead. If Gen Wudi could devour 4 Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godheads consecutively, he would be able to break through to the titled World Ancestor's realm. Just this once. Many thanks. Longao stood up and left. He didn't expect Master God Diviner to be so straightforward. Not only did he give him a Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, he even gave him the other 3. After leaving the Sky Martial continent, Longao returned to the Soaring Dragon realm. Brother Long, are you looking for me? Gen Wudi didn't expect Longao to find him a Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead in such a short time. Taking out a Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, Longao smiled and said, "After you devour this Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, you should be able to break through to the Starry Sky Realm Emperor's realm." Longao was also a selfish person. Although Gen Wudi was half a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire, he wasn't a citizen of the Soaring Dragon Empire. This Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead was something he had promised to give to Gen Wudi. Receiving the Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead from Longao, Gen Wudi said gratefully, "Brother Long, thank you for finding this Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead for me. To tell you the truth, Master also found me a Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, but I didn't devour it." In an instant, Longao had already understood Gen Wudi's intention. It turned out that Gen Wudi was the same as him. He wanted to rely on his own cultivation to reach the peak of the martial Dao step by step. However, Gen Wudi was a little different from him. If Gen Wudi encountered a legend rank or Starry Sky Immortal Godhead, he would definitely not decline. Taking back the Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, Longao smiled and said, "If that's the case, I won't force you. You're too polite. Then I won't stay any longer. Master is looking for me. Alright, take care." Longao didn't continue to persuade Gen Wudi to stay. He could sense that Gen Wudi had something to ask of him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in such a hurry to leave. Since Gen Wudi didn't want the Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godhead, Longao naturally had a candidate in mind. If one person devoured 4 Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godheads, although it was a little wasteful, the refining speed would be very fast. If 4 people devoured the godheads, they could create 4 experts, but the refining speed would be slower. After thinking about it, Longao ultimately chose to give the godheads to his elder brother. As the emperor of the empire, Long Ying was considered the most important person in the empire. Others might not have strength, but his elder brother must have strength. If his elder brother could devour 4 Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godheads, he could definitely break through to the titled World Ancestor realm. No one could compare to his own family. Looking at the 4 Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godheads in his hand, Long Ying was shocked. He thought that Longao knew what the 4 Starry Sky Realm Emperor's godheads meant. If he could devour them, he could definitely become a titled World Ancestor expert. Author's note, another 5 chapters, continued at night. Chapter 2246. 4 Starry Sky Godheads. Starry Sky Realm Emperor Godhead, titled Realm Emperor Godhead, Starry Sky Ancestor Godhead, titled Universe Ancestor Godhead. If Long Ying devoured all 4 Starry Sky Godheads, he would become a titled Universe Ancestor. Long Ying was very excited because he had never thought that there would be a day when he could become a titled World Ancestor with his cultivation. 7th brother, thank you. Long Ying knew that if it wasn't for his 7th brother, he wouldn't have been able to reach this step. Big brother, you and I are brothers, there's no need to be so polite. Hurry up and refine the 4 Starry Sky Godheads. He nodded. Long Ying certainly knew the seriousness of the matter. With the development of the soaring dragon empire, there would be a lot of trouble and danger at any time. The stronger he was, the more help he would be to the empire. Long Ying didn't hesitate and immediately began to devour the 4 starry sky godheads. However, Longao knew that even with his brother's talent, it was impossible for him to become a titled universe ancestor in a short time after devouring the 4 starry sky godheads. At this moment, the soaring dragon realm welcomed a new person. Others might not know, but Longao knew very well what this person meant. Blood Demon, the starry sky destroyer. Blood Demon was sealed in the dragon seal by Long Mie for more than 10,000 years. Longao was almost certain. Blood Demon and Long Mie definitely had a grudge against each other, but they were both afraid of each other and didn't explode. If there was a chance, whether it was Blood Demon or Long Mie, they would think of all kinds of ways to destroy each other. The starry sky destroyer wasn't really immortal. Longao, you don't have to worry. I'm not here to find trouble with you. In fact, there's no grudge between us. It's all because of Long Mie. Longao nodded in agreement. There was indeed no grudge between him and Blood Demon. Even so, it would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. No matter what, Blood Demon's identity was there. If he regained the starry sky destroyer, it would be a matter of minutes for him to destroy the empire and himself. Longao could clearly feel that Blood Demon was no longer the same as before. Even he couldn't sense Blood Demon's true strength. In other words, he had no idea what kind of strength the Blood Demon had recovered. Titled Universe Ancestor? Starry Sky Powerhouse? Star Legend? Or Starry Sky Undying? He didn't know at all, so Longao was very afraid. However, the Soaring Dragon Empire now had a Starry Sky Legend and a Starry Sky Immortal. As long as the Blood Demon's cultivation hadn't recovered to Starry Sky Dominator, he wouldn't be able to do anything. Blood Demon, may I know what brings you here? He went straight to the point. Longao didn't want to have anything to do with the Blood Devil. He always had a bad feeling in his heart. It was too much of a coincidence for him to be in contact with all 12 rulers of the stars for no reason at all. Even he didn't want to believe it. Blood Devil smiled. Longao, why do you reject me? I can tell you clearly that Long Mie is your enemy, and I can only be your friend. According to my guess, Long Mie will definitely deal with you in the future if nothing unexpected happens. Do you think you can compete with a Starry Sky ruler with your own strength? He couldn't. Longao didn't even wait for the Blood Devil to finish speaking before answering in his heart. The 12 rulers of the stars were already the most powerful beings in the vast universe. He couldn't be a match for them unless he could refine the Chaos Stone Tablet in his body and become a new Starry Sky ruler. However, until now, Longao wasn't sure if the Chaos Stone Tablet he swallowed could help him become a Starry Sky ruler. What if it couldn't? However, Longao wasn't too worried. Even if he couldn't become a Starry Sky ruler, at least he had Long Qiong's help. It should be known that Long Qiong had already swallowed the 5 elements Chaos Stone Tablet. If nothing unexpected happened, Long Qiong would definitely become a Starry Sky ruler in the future. Longao knew very well that Long Qiong's situation was different from Long Ming and Ji Mai's. Whether it was Long Ming or Ji Mai, they were Starry Sky rulers. It was just that they hadn't awakened their primordial spirits before. That was why they had distanced themselves as soon as they had awakened their primordial spirits. Longao knew that his relationship with Ji Mai and Long Ming had changed. As for whether they would be friends or enemies in the future, it was still unknown. With Long Qiong's help, the other Starry Sky rulers wouldn't dare act rashly. Longao didn't tell anyone about this. Only Long Ming, Ji Mai, and Xian Tong knew. As for Xian Tong, Longao knew that at the very least, Xian Tong wouldn't be his enemy. I don't understand what you mean. Longao didn't know why Blood Devil had come this time. He didn't know why Blood Devil would say that out of the blue. After all, the grudge between him and Long Mie didn't seem to have anything to do with him. As if he could guess Longao's thoughts, Blood Devil smiled and said, Longao, I'm here to ask you for a favor. Don't worry, I won't ask for your help for nothing. If you can help me, I'll give you a starry sky immortal godhead unconditionally. Moreover, it's a complete set of starry sky immortal godheads. That way, you can create a starry sky immortal godhead in the shortest time possible. How long? 1 year will be enough. Longao didn't have the slightest doubt. Others might not be able to do it, but that didn't mean Blood Devil couldn't. No matter what, Blood Devil was still a starry sky ruler and a starry sky ruler. First, I want to know. What's this about? Longao wasn't a fool. He knew that Blood Devil wouldn't give him so many starry sky immortal godheads for nothing. He knew what it meant to create a starry sky immortal godhead in 1 year. Thus, Longao didn't agree immediately. If it was a matter of life and death, he would rather give up. Longao knew that he couldn't let anything happen to him. If something happened to him, what about his family? What about his lover? What about his family? What about the Empire? Longao, don't worry. To you, this matter won't bring you any harm. Perhaps you can use this chance to break through continuously. I can give you these starry sky immortal godheads in advance. From the starry sky territory ancestor to the starry sky immortal godheads, all the starry sky immortal godheads appeared in the air and Longao caught them. Longao knew that Blood Devil had come prepared this time. If he didn't agree, Blood Devil wouldn't give up. Pondering for a while, Longao said, "Give me 3 days. After 3 days, we will leave the soaring dragon realm. What do you think?" "No problem." Blood Devil didn't even think before agreeing. He seemed to have guessed that Longao would agree. Chapter 2247. Who should he find to devour these star god sparks? Longao was very clear that with the starry sky godhead in his hands, he could indeed create a starry sky undying being within a year. He found that these star god sparks had already been refined by Blood Demon. Who should he choose? After thinking for a while, Longao decided on one. Grandpa Longhausha. Yes, it was Longhausha. No, Aoer, I know you're doing this for Grandpa's sake, but I'm old. Why waste these star god sparks? Looking at the star god sparks in his hand, Longhausha was dumbfounded. Starry Sky Undying was the strongest existence in the vast universe besides the 12 rulers of stars. Ever since the 12 rulers of stars fell, Starry Sky Uncultivated was the strongest in the universe. Longhausha's meaning was simple. He wanted to devour these star god sparks for nothing. Longao shook his head. Grandpa, I've made up my mind. Hurry up and devour them. Longhausha knew his grandson well. Once he decided on something, he wouldn't change his mind. He sighed deeply. Longhausha didn't say anything else and went into seclusion to cultivate. 1 year. After 1 year, Longhausha would break through to Starry Sky Undying, which meant that the soaring dragon empire would have its own Starry Sky Undying. That way, even if Jiu Tian left the empire, there would at least be a Starry Sky Undying. No one would dare to provoke the empire. 3 days later. Longao didn't tell anyone that he was leaving the soaring dragon empire. Blood Demon, where are we going now? Even now, Longao didn't know where Blood Demon was taking him or what he needed him to do. Longao, to tell you the truth, I've successfully reincarnated and destroyed the tablet, but I can't refine it. Strictly speaking, I can't become a Starry Sky Undying again. Ah! What did that mean? Longao was shocked. He knew what it meant if Blood Demon couldn't become a Starry Sky Undying. What had happened? Longao's intuition told him that things weren't that simple. What happened? He was curious. Longao, I believe you already know what happened back then. Longao knew very well that the Blood Demon was referring to the 12-star rulers who had fallen together and entered the reincarnation path. Could it be that Blood Demon's inability to refine the primal chaos tablets was related to what had happened in the past? Longao nodded but did not say anything. We can say with absolute certainty that Master God Diviner was the one behind everything that happened back then. Longao was very clear about this. Yang Qi refused to believe that Master God Diviner could have been the first to awaken his nascent divinity and become the sovereign lord of the starry sky. Master God Diviner has already returned to being the ruler of the starry skies. Normally speaking, even if the process of assimilating the Chaos Tablets is slow, it shouldn't be this slow. I don't know what the situation is with the other rulers of the starry skies, but I've gradually come to the realization that I can't truly assimilate the Chaos Tablets. Therefore, I can't become the ruler of the starry skies. Then what do you want? Come with me to a place. As for the reason, you'll know soon enough. Longao grew more and more curious. He got straight to the point. Blood Demon, forgive me for being blunt, but why do you want me to come with you? Longao was very clear about his own power. He couldn't reach the sovereign lord of the starry sky. Longao, you and I are both smart people. Perhaps your power hasn't reached our expectations, but I can say with absolute certainty that in the future, you will be able to control the movements of the starry skies. Longao didn't completely believe the Blood Demon's words. He could control the starry skies. What nonsense was that? What qualifications did he have? If the 12 rulers of the starry skies could control the starry skies, then that was true. Other than the 12 rulers of the starry skies, perhaps not even the eternal stars could do that. Blood Demon, where are we going? Longao didn't want to waste time. After dealing with this matter, he had other matters to attend to. The Blood Demon seemed to be able to guess what Longao was thinking. Thinking about it, he said, Longao, I'm going to take you to the martial heaven continent to ask the God Diviner. Longao cursed inside. You're going to ask the God Diviner about the primal chaos tablet? What's the point of dragging me along? He was truly depressed. Blood Demon, forgive me for being blunt, but you can go by yourself. Why drag me along? Would the God Diviner give him face? The God Diviner wouldn't even give face to the other rulers of the starry skies, let alone him. Longao, my meaning is very simple. I'm not asking you to take me to the martial heaven continent to see the God Diviner. While I'm holding him back, you have to find a way to enter a place and help me find something. If you can find it, perhaps I can refine the primal chaos tablet. I'll do my best. Since things had already reached this point, how could he refuse? Longao was very clear that if he refused, the Blood Demon wouldn't hesitate to attack. He didn't care, but what about the Empire? The martial heaven continent. The Blood Demon's thoughts were too simple. As soon as the two of them entered the martial heaven continent, before Longao could leave, the God Diviner appeared in front of them. He smiled and said, please. The Blood Demon was a bit surprised. He had never imagined that the God Diviner would be able to sense Longao's presence despite being enveloped by his aura. Just how had the God Diviner done it? Since they had been discovered, the two of them didn't continue hiding. Instead, they left with the God Diviner. The outer sea, the Crystal Palace. Longao sat at the side and did not say anything. He was very depressed in his heart. This mother asterisk had only left for a few days and he actually came back again. The main reason was that he wondered if the godly mathematician would deal with him because he was with the Blood Devil. For some reason, Longao had a feeling that the God Diviner wasn't as simple as he seemed. Otherwise, why would the 12 rulers of the starry skies have died at the same time? How could the God Diviner have awakened his Yuan spirit so early? It was a bit strange. It wasn't just him. The other 11 rulers were curious about this as well. They just hadn't asked yet. God Diviner, let's get straight to the point. Did you do something to the primal chaos tablet? I can't refine it, so please give me an explanation. Wait a moment. Just at this moment, 9 terrifying auras appeared. Before Longao could react, 8 figures appeared. They were the Devouring Starry Sky Ruler, Lightning Starry Sky Ruler, Space Starry Sky Ruler, Time Starry Sky Ruler, Reincarnation Starry Sky Ruler, Slaughter Starry Sky Ruler, Swordwell Starry Sky Ruler, and the Indestructible Tyrant Body Starry Sky Ruler. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,